Hello everyone and welcome to the Lightbringers podcast episode 55. It's definitely episode 55. And we are today going to be playing the Silent Surf Fractal that just arrived in Guild Wars 2 about a week or so ago. We've heard all about the expansion, that's what we talked about last episode, so if you do want to go and check out all the information about that, everyone is hyped, excited, joyful, all of the things. So go and check out that latest episode. It's got a bunch of comments on it. Everyone is very excited about the things. We have a wonderful guest, Fornax, Rookery, and Kroof all here today, and excited for things to come. Hello, everyone. How are we doing?
Hi.
Doing good.
Good.
Great.
Jeb, we're playing the Fractal. I thought you were just gonna all let me now ramble for 3 hours about how excited I am about the expansion.
We can. I just have to go through everything again. I mean, maybe we can just get the video and play it and just have your reactions to the podcast. I can do that if you want.
I love that. Yeah, let's just do that. Scrap everything else. And no, I'm kidding. I am really looking forward to the many conversations I'm sure we will have about the expansion leading up to its release, because I was really sad I couldn't be with everybody last week, but I'll keep that in check for now.
Well, we will have more of it, don't worry. I'm actually thinking about doing a podcast where we maybe even talk about each weapon and what we think may be going in, like the abilities and stuff for each one.
That'd be fun.
I think so.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be like really long. Like we could do a couple of weapons, pistols and elementalists, and we could draw things and just come up with fun things we think might happen and like predictions. And you remember what we did before with the elite specs?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
This will be much more specific.
Yeah. Fornax, so last time we had, I don't know if you watched them, but we had elite specialization predictions. So for each stream, when we played the trailer, and then we were like, just went on speculation podcast, and they were easy. I think they were 3 hours long each one. I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. They were definitely around that. I don't know if we cracked the 4-hour mark, but
there is one or two, I think. Yeah, we used to do them all the time. All the time they were 3 hours. I don't know how. I think it was just me forgetting time, and we're just like, yeah, this doesn't matter. I just held them all hostage.
I remember them. I was definitely a lurker in the chat, so yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, you're gonna be part of
and
it
you still decided to join us, even
know,
as witness? Wow.
That's your own downfall. No one can fix that.
No, exactly. It is your literal fault. Let's do a mini intro. Kroof, tell us what you do and where you do it.
Hi, everyone. So if you're looking to go to my Facebook marketplace, I'm currently selling some t-shirts, candles, and gems. No, it's not a pyramid scheme. It's just it's a ladder that you have to climb. But on top of Facebook pyramid schemes, I mean, just marketplaces. I also make videos over on YouTube about Guild Wars 2, specifically Guild Wars 2 Secrets of the Obscure, because that's the 4th expansion. And I released a new video today going over the Wizard's Vault. So if you want to go check out all of my excitement in regards to the Wizard's Vault, you can head on over there. And also I stream here on Twitch every once in a while. So thank you all so much for being here. I love y'all.
Kroof just came back from an anime show in
Yeah, I went to Anime Expo. Anyone go to Anime Expo this year?
Said that, Jebro, it sounded like you were 5,000 years old.
An anime show.
Just came back from a Japanese animation show.
Information show. I said anime show, didn't I? I don't know.
Whatever it is, keep it in.
I was excited for you for a short second.
It's very fun.
It was. There was pictures. I think you took the same picture every day with the same model.
It was a ritual. There was a giant model of Ifrit, and I had to, every single day, I had to go by and say hi to the baby.
Just you and your friends doing like random poses. It was very good.
I thought the maid's outfit was the best one. That was peak. Amazing.
2 people stopped me and asked me for a picture, and there were thousands of maids there, so...
You were serving the best maid. You know what I mean?
I cinched. It slowly got looser throughout the day because it hurt.
Oh, really? Interesting. Okay. All right. Fornax, welcome back. That's what you do, where you do it. Why you've got a puff of smoke coming out from your name, because I can't fix it so I can see the teacup as well.
Oh, never mind. I'm smoking a joint under the table. It's fine. Don't do drugs, kids. I'm Fornex. I'm the Crichton Herald. No, that's true. No children watch this.
No.
And I make content over on YouTube and occasionally stream here on Twitch. And talk to these lovely people once a week, which is amazing. And yeah, that's me. Hi. Don't judge my firebrand healing. Okay, just don't. Okay, that's it.
Yes, Fornex is going to be playing. He's going to be responsible for our lives. Make sure you check out that awesome stuff as well as Kroofs on the YouTubes. And then Rookery is back and returning. Hello, my friend. How are you doing? Tell us about yourself. What you do?
Hi, I'm Rook, aka Rookery, and Kroof told me that if I sell these candles, I will get rich and be able to move into a mansion. So please check out my Facebook Marketplace as well. And I'm really banking on that. So
If I get people asking for this in the comments, I'm like, you're gonna have to make one.
Be your own boss. Make your own hours.
Yeah, it's true.
But when I'm not a part of this incredible new business opportunity, you can find me over on my channel on Twitch, which is Rookery. That's ROOKURI. You can also find me on YouTube at the same. And for now, until Twitter burns, on Twitter at Rookery_. You can find me on Instagram too, just at Rookery. We'll see what happens. It's been a wild, weird time, but I'm super happy to be back. And I will say, I can big vouch as well for both Kroof and Fornex's coverage of the expansion, because I've been watching your videos and they are top tier. Very good, very good. We covered it live on stream on my channel, but I then went and watched your videos and I was like, damn, that's so good. They're both so good at this. Top tier coverage.
Thank you.
Excellent. And if you do want to support any of these wonderful creators, their link for the expansion is in the description. So if you go and chuck a little click over to there, you can purchase the expansion. Also, some of the other expansions, which I believe are still maybe on sale. I'm not too sure. And no doubt they will be on sale again before the new expansion comes out. So click on that link and you click buy on that page as well. And then you go and purchase the expansion. You get a little bit of a kickback, a little bit of support. Okay, massively helpful. We're all Arena partners as well. Boots' link is on there for this week, and Rookery is on there for last week's as well, even though they're not here. We're going to chuck those links on every single one so people can get the support. It would be massively appreciated. So, also, twitch.tv/JebroUnity every week. I'm not sure about next week at the moment. I might have a week off because just to have a day of rest and self-care, because I should probably practice that being a therapist. We shall see. Either that or we'll have a short episode like this. But, you know, come check out the podcast. The last episode got a ton of good, well, the last couple, they all could get good feedback, but like comments have been wild about what people are thinking. You should go and read some of these comments of people thinking what they think is going to happen with the new expansion, ideas, predictions, wants, unicorns, all that kind of thing. You influenced a lot of discussion, so it was very good. But today we are going to play a new Fractal. Also, a big thank you to Pinky Fluff, a member of our community as well, who's coming to join us in this, because we don't have a fifth member on the podcast today, because Boots is having probably an amazing time on their way to Japan, I'm assuming.
Better than all of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jealous. But
Boots did not offer to bring all of us to Japan with him and his wife, and I'm kind of offended about this, to be honest, but
agree.
It's fine.
That's true.
Thank you, Kroof.
Thank you, Griff. Okie dokie. So, Silent Surf is called, right?
Yes.
Okay. So anyone got is there like some little bit of tidbits that we could know before we go that aren't like spoilery for me specifically, or was there any information they gave us before we went? I can't remember.
There's a letter, so you should have gotten a letter in your mailbox.
Oh dear.
And
I've got 25 keys, but I got 25 lion keys because there's a sale on right now.
That should be it.
Oh yeah, okay. Is it the Mysteries or a Fit? Is it that one?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
As I'm skimming it on stream. Yes.
Does anyone want to read it who's not me?
I'll do it. I like my Goric voice.
Yeah,
I deleted the mail.
Thank you.
Let me see. I gotta make it big. Okay. Commander, I've done some off-the-clock investigating of the entity we encountered in the Gyala mines. Let's just say there's a frustratingly sparse collection of studies on the subject, most of which haven't been academically vetted. Figures. That said, if you're interested, I recommend less conventional methods for finding answers. The fractals have no shortage of anomalous activity, and while the historical accuracy of these slices of time are inconsistent at best, we might make some surprising discoveries. In the meantime, I'll continue digging through these outmoded publications. Best of luck, Goric. P.S. You know I prefer comms, but Rama wisely suggested that I reacquaint myself with all forms of communication. It's important that Brim and Scarab be able to service the broadest possible client base, even the technologically challenged.
Very good. Excellent, excellent.
I'm sorry, I don't know how to turn on my iPhone.
You're sorry, you what? Sorry? You what on your iPhone?
Rook is very good at that.
Oh, okay.
For next.
I was like, what?
Making a joke about not knowing how to use iPhones. What I like to know is Goric insinuating that we as the commander are canonically technologically challenged?
That's rude. Very rude. I'm not.
I mean, maybe not wrong.
Look at my new outfit,
Maybe
everyone.
not.
I mean, I'm an engineer that's also a necro. I mean, I'm dual classing. We're going for it now. Everyone looks very good, I gotta say. Everyone looks wonderful. Okay. Also, credit to Fornax, who has leveled a character and like made it very special for our needs today. So, good job. Wait, did I specify that we're actually doing this one? Did you just start randomly doing a fractal?
Oh yeah, and I selected it.
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, okay, good. Oh, it's 25 is the first tier. Okay, cool. That's good to know.
No, Jeb, we're just picking any random fractal day and playing it. Is that not what you wanted?
I mean, we could do that. I think we should go through the fractals at some point, and like we're still going through the
All of
story. We gotta do for the story first.
Welcome to my fractal tier ranking video, from most fun to
I
I'll have to do that,
enjoyable.
Why not?
You have to let me transfer my actual account over because this character has no AR. Like,
I've got a bit. I bet we'll be fine. Your prediction is we will die. Okay, thank you, Hungry Team.
Well, okay, I can say this. I will die because I am notoriously horrific at the gimmick mechanic of this fractal. So
Oh my
I
God.
apologize in advance.
We'll try and get
It might be
zoomings.
better.
We'll try and zoom into your failings if that's okay. Wait, we'll find
We'll
out
all
why.
let Rook. We will all let Rook take the first jump.
Just get clips of it.
I'm hoping it's better this time. I spent 4 hours almost dying to it. So
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
That's
it was
awesome.
really bad.
I mean,
Yeah, it's awesome.
not
Thank
awesome.
you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know, it must have been good
No,
for
it's
to watch.
amazing. It's incredible. I have a gift, so let's witness it.
You are a
So-
gift, Rook.
She's
Like
a
you,
gift,
you are
true.
currently Fornax. Sorry, I'm gonna just change your names. Right.
No, I want to be Fornax.
Oh, I'm
Fornax
sorry.
is amazing.
I know you're both amazing, but you do deserve to have your correct name. Should someone come across this podcast and want to know who you are, and they suddenly realise that you are
True.
not that person. I'm still Jebro. Criff is still Criff. Okay, let's go. I don't know if there's audio at the beginning, so there might be a little bit of fun time. Fractals of the Mists. Ooh. Ooh.
JC. Don't recognize the exact location. Go look around.
Oh, this is cool. This is a cool area. How far away? How far can you get?
You can find, but survivors take priority.
I love the
Parachutes from the cargo
environments
hold. Use
in
them as
this
needed.
fractal, I will
Leftovers
say.
consumed.
Survivors?
Looks pretty cool.
A shipwreck on the Jade Sea? This could be days after the Jade Wind.
Oh, that's very
The
cool.
gate This way.
Days after Joe went. Okay, you did say that when we're talking. Okay, so now we're picking up a thing. Harpoon gun, I guess, as we rummage. I've never seen that before. One is launch a grappling hook to pull yourself in the targeted direction. Consumes ammunition. I can't read. Parachute. Deployed a makeshift. Oh wow, parachute to slow your fall. Free as black powder charge to fire a concussive charge to provide an extra boost. Guaranteed to be 100% safe. Okay. And then 5. 5 looks like the skill from the that festival.
Sanctum Sprint.
Yeah. That's it. When you do the rushy things, can I just see what that is? Oh no, it's not. Unless it fires something out and you collect it. No. Oh well.
With this
Okay.
projectile, I actually want to praise the way that this mechanically works. It bounces off of walls multiple times.
Oh, cool.
Which we sometimes have with combat skills,
Yeah.
with like the shield 5 on Necro, but I don't know, I don't really feel like we see a lot of bouncing projectiles. Or at least I haven't in a while, so I like that.
No, there's only like the mesmer stuff, right, which are normally just the fun one. Some pistol stuff on engineer, but that's old. That's old school. So what are the achievements here then as well? There must be something you have to gather around here, surely. Nah, maybe not. Okay.
Oh, there are lore, little like lore tidbits, little pages.
Okay.
And we can try and keep an eye out for them as we go through, because I do think they very much enhance the experience. And in the final arena, there is one on a platform that you need to get before the fight ends. Because while there is still a chance that like you can go at the end, you won't be able to recharge your gun charges. So if you whiff it like I did, you'll have to replay the fractal, go back and get the final lore page.
Okay.
So, we'll just keep an eye out for it, because I think the little lore page at the end is really good too. So.
Okay. Right. Thank you for
I
that.
honestly think this is a really cool setting, though. Just to say, I hadn't really thought. I mean, like, you think about the Jade Sea, but I hadn't necessarily thought about what it would be like, how terrifying it would be to be out on the open ocean when it struck, and just be out there when the ocean itself is so vast that, like, the amount of supplies, the amount of things making land, right? Like, it's something where it's not just as easy as, you know, well, if we got stranded out here and literally now our main mode of transportation, our ship, can't carry us. Like, I had not thought about how terrifying that was and how devastating it would be to so many people, especially for like a nation where they're, you know, like island based, and the ocean is a huge part of their way of life and modes of transportation. So I think the setting of this, like right in the wake of it, is really a cool point in the story.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my heart goes out to the skinny dippers in Cantha that, you know, were taking a little swim.
Ooh, okay. This is the first page, is it? The report and manifest of the cargo laid on the board of the vessel, the Jade Runner. Oh, I like that name as a ship. I like this. This looks different to the way they set out their pages in this kind of app they put into the game, actually. Just a cargo manifest thingamajig.
This is the inventory for Karuf's new Facebook Marketplace
Oh,
business.
yeah, true.
Yeah.
5
Just
crates
know
of incense candles.
If you're looking to join, feel free to. I have open applications, and then you can ask your friends and really get all your friends and family in on this, because we really need to build our empire and build our own girl bossing modes of capitalism.
Do they get? Oh, that was cool. Do they get like a certain amount of money off if they use your link? Can I get involved in this? Or?
Well, you know, you purchase your inventory from me, and then you sell it, and you know, the people you hire, you know, they purchase from you, you know.
Okay. Oh shoot! Oh wow! Okay, I almost died. I actually probably should talk to Captain Beth.
Cargo's missing from the hold. Looks like the crew got into a bad scrap. Naga probably. The Serpent Clan, like us. I'm not about to abandon
The
my
Rook
own.
death counter is at 1. I want everyone to know that. I have already died once.
You've already died once here?
Yes, I have already died.
What did you die to?
I did not make the initial grab.
I missed that.
I wanted to see it.
You know, I just let it
Toss a
quietly
flare to mark a landing
happen.
spot.
I figured there's enough embarrassment in store, so...
Oh, this is what this is. It's a flare.
I do like the new zipline platform with having a little sail on it.
Oh yeah, that's cute. These are the old versions they used to have, maybe. Oh shoot, no! I like the little parachute, but that's obviously from something else anyway.
We're making good progress. Hold
God
on.
damn, I don't have
Did you
my
hear that?
my
Weapons ready.
my mastery. Son of a.
Oh, the mislock singularity.
Well,
Right,
the
I'm
run
not
is
using the rifle.
absolutely whiffed now. There's no way we can continue on.
How are we gonna use spiders without you having your mislock singularity?
It's tier 1. It's tier 1. It's fine. I've just got PTSD from all the tier 4s I've been doing.
Critters.
Okay.
I love tier 4s.
Can you get
It's
it now?
amazeballs, but it's terrifying.
Yes,
these
yes,
charges.
yes.
They'll give you an extra
So
push
the
if you
shark
need it.
here, I just have to shout out the shark here.
Wait, where?
If you
Oh
look
gosh!
up,
Oh
right?
gosh! I just looked at that thing. Oh my god!
Yeah,
Jesus.
the environment is so cool in this one,
What?
and also kind of terrifying because we see all of the creatures like even above him that are frozen solid in the jade, right? Like preserved as though they were in amber. But like for people or living creatures that were like partially covered in amber right after it happened. I mean, okay, this is gonna be kind of grisly, but like, my gosh, some parts of this place must have stunk because like as some of these like as bodies or as people who were like caught in it or animals or organic life, or you think about the devastation of the Naga who like mostly live underwater and then surface or live in some like shoreline kind of colonies in the time at least that they were more at peace with humans. Like again, really kind of stressing because we see it so much later, but in the days following the Jade
didn't
Wind,
survive
that
the
shark
fall.
made me think about like in a much more visceral way what
Yeah.
it must have been like. I don't know. Also, it's just huge, so there's that too.
Okay, so that does look cool. Yeah, that scared the crap out of me for a second. I'm gonna assume that some of those pages, are around here somewhere, but I'm not gonna go for them. So I'm gonna guess what you have to kind of do. Okay,
Oh wow.
I did it. Yeah.
I'm
What
impressed.
happened? Why am I over
How did
there?
you get over
Yeah.
here so fast?
I'm an engineer. Wait, was that it? Was that what I had to do?
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
cool.
you got it.
I did it first time.
I did mega.
Did it
That one
correctly.
killed me at least like 50 times. I did make it this time though.
I'm used to
Oh,
ammunition charges though, so I saw the ammunition charges, so I just assumed they were just given to us for a reason. I'm
Jeff,
used to
they're-
them.
There is a lore page back here. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, sure. Oh, where is it?
Oh,
Can we go back?
Wait.
It's back by where I am.
No.
So right where you made that like
I'ma
where you made
fall
that
off.
huge leap.
Same.
It should reset you. Yeah. If you yeet yourself, it should reset and you should be able to come over here.
Ooh, where are you? Let's see.
Hello.
Plung.
I'm coming.
That's so fun. I love that. That's great. I would love to have that mechanic in maps, and honestly, without. Yeah. Read away. I'll chuck it up.
Oh, I don't care. Faded journal page. Naga found our camp 2 nights back. Gutted some of the crew and made off with most of our food stores before fleeing below. Arya recruited a dozen of our most capable to follow. The chase below has been treacherous, but we were able to scavenge tools and salvage from the wrecked ships to get by. We have to. We'll starve otherwise.
Interesting. So there's this kind of like, do you remember what was that? There was that movie. Oh wow, I don't know why this is like really awful to mention because it's just there was the idea of that movie about the real thing that happened with the plane that crashed in the snow and they survived and all that kind of stuff. A little bit more gruesome, but like it was a real thing, like it was a real event that actually happened. Oh, there we go. Sorry, my brain is like, woo, look at these things.
This is making my head spin. Ambush!
Uh-oh.
Defend yourselves!
Oops. More Naga.
More Naga!
I do love the Naga. Love seeing them.
They
Naga
are
are super cool.
good. I like the Naga. They're funny, but also
I
annoying.
really loved their model like upgrade for Cantha and End of Dragons.
Yes, more like colorful and yeah, I agree on that. Actually. Did you fall off? I didn't get the singularity. If you...
Okay, Ranger's second and third abilities are now leaps. They're just the same leap. I don't know why that's a thing, but it is.
Did you just jump off?
More supplies. Take what you need.
Oh,
One
I'm just slowly falling. Oh, okay, I'm back. Actually, no, we're good.
One thing I really do enjoy is the bundle pickups, like how you don't have to go back and pick them up. I know they've been there for a little bit, but you can just switch them in and out, and I think that came with End of Dragons, right? Or did it? I can't remember. You can just pick it up, pick up a gun, and then you've always got it. You just switch out like it's a weapon swap.
Oh, a special action.
Yeah. Which is pretty cool. Oh.
Arya. I sailed with her some years
Oh, she's
back.
dead.
Naga got to her first.
No, she's having a little nap, Jebro. She does a little tie-tie.
She does not look very comfortable down there.
She's just taking a long blink. It's okay.
I love this voice that's going on in the background. Okay, is there a page here or anything? Maybe not.
I'm
I
messing this
don't
up
think there's a
again.
page on this.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember, but I don't think so.
There is going to
think
be
it's just
some in some fun
dialogue.
places, I bet. Okay, is this where I die? Oh no, I am on a random thing. Okay, that's sick. Whoa! Uh-oh, I'm gonna fall. Why did I take screenshots? Stop.
This cavern is so cool. I love the like
is.
tears of the like, I don't know, magical energy through it. The like kind of explosive look of the water all around. Cool.
Oh, we can't glide. Okay, so I was gonna try and glide on that.
Yeah, I want to glide so badly during this fractal.
Yeah. Oh, what the hell is happening? Oh my god.
There's a page here. There's a page here.
Oh, cool. Sure, if you want to read it, I don't mind. If you want to read it.
Does anybody else want to read?
I can read it if I get to
for
it.
it.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know where y'all
And
are.
Kroof never made it to their location.
Wait, I might not be there.
It's like, I am so lost that I will never find you again.
Oh no, I'm over by Fornax.
We're at the part where we're supposed to be.
No.
You guys are just wandering off.
Moved along.
okay.
We
Wow.
were goal oriented.
Okay, well, some of us take forever, and we still
Oh, I
have
thought we
time.
were in head. All right. You can read it, yeah.
Sure, yeah, I got it. Waterlogged journal page. Strange things under the sea. Not just what's frozen in the stone, but the plants, the fungus. Nautis says the nearby wind tunnel exits at a safe location. Even with an elementalist of their caliber, I have doubts. Still, they've been vital for setting up the zip lines. As we continue lower, I sense a growing unease among the crew. Been accused of staring a little too long by Odamos and Sintry a couple times. Maybe we should turn back, take our chances walking to the mainland.
Interesting. Okay. And now...
It's really fascinating. The decimation of the Luxon people, because the Luxons were actually a seafaring nation, which is why in the original Guild Wars, all their kind of land vessels had a nautical feel to them, and they kind of retained at least the terminology in their culture, which I really liked.
I failed. Sorry. That was very cool. Can you repeat that? I know everyone else heard, but I died. Or I fell too far or something. I don't know.
So the Luxons before the Jade Winds were actually a seafaring. They basically the inland sea that is the Jade Sea now was just an inland sea. So they were a seafaring nation.
Right.
And when the Jade Winds came, it decimated their culture for decades, and until they basically adapted so that the sea that they farmed for fish. They turned into mining opportunities for themselves, and they kept the nomenclature of their nautical heritage right up until present day.
We opened a portal, I think, so if you just fall, you should be spawned back over here.
I just want to try and see it all and get there. Thank you for that as well, Phonics.
That's quite right.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about that. Oh, shoot. Okay,
old nerd.
I'm going to die. Ow. Thank you for the heals.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
mean, it changed so many things for Cantha, right? And that is one thing that I think, even from just core End of Dragons, that we didn't get to see as much of. We, get in Echo Vault a lot of the history, especially if you do all the bonus stuff in the dungeons. Hold on, I'll let him speak first, and then I'll continue.
Okay. Yeah, if we all can slow down a bit as well, so I can just show it, show the stream all the things as well.
How?
Oh, okay.
Hold on!
Oh no!
Did you fall?
No, the guy fell. He like just got yeeted off the fucking thing. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to swear. No, flip.
No.
Well, too late, Jebro.
I know, it's a bit.
All I was gonna say is that we didn't get to see as much of the Luxons, right? Because Dragon's Den, although it has some stuff in it, it is kind of its own major arc. So to get a little something here that like features around the sea and to, you know, be able to put some more pieces together, I think is cool. I was just agreeing with Fornax mostly.
Yeah. Cool.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Shut balls.
I love these mechanics where you have to spread out, and it's quite a large area as well, so it really forces everyone, even on a tier 1, to interact with the mechanic.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
I
So you can
really
learn.
like the mechanics on this one and the last one.
God, is he?
He's
Okay, I
having a
guess we
bad
just go
day.
down.
Having a real bad time.
No, this is such
no.
a time. I mean, he might need some Tylenol. Who knows?
Tylenol.
I don't know whether I should let you die. So, oh!
Oh no, you don't die. You don't actually die. That's fun. Ooh, there's lots of platforms.
Oh.
Okay, we all
This
here.
area is
Yeah.
well creepy.
Yeah, I love
It's
this.
super creepy.
This is great. It goes with my armor as well. Like, look, this looks really cool. Okay, I'm gonna talk to the person. Oh no, I can't. Is he dead?
We can begin.
Oh, whoa! That guy looks well good. It looks so cool. Wait, who is it? Oh, unknown demon. Okay. Oh shit! I've still got my gun on. No, I'm dead. I'm gonna die.
No!
Oh no, I'm okay. What's happening?
I had that happen to me too.
Okay.
When I was first doing it.
I keep using the gun all the time. Like, wait. I mean, it looks pretty awesome. Assuming they're gender completely, but like, you know. Wow, they look so cool.
I have
Very
no idea who this
demonic-y.
creature is.
If
It's
you've watched
so...
Fornax's lore video,
I mean, yeah, right.
Interesting concept art.
What a surprise!
Very
I'm
faithful to
so
the
Do you want
concept.
to?
Actually.
Do I find out after this? Do they say their
And
name?
the
or
old
something?
model.
he
yeah,
partway through
interface
announces who he
change.
is. Yeah.
Okay. Break his break bar. Please.
Got it.
We got it. And I actually really love this mechanic. Every time you break his break bar, he gains Dread Defiance, which each stack reduces incoming Defiance damage and stun duration. So the more you actually break him, the harder it gets, the longer the fight goes. So it's a nice way for bosses to resist just like breaking their break bar super easily.
Yeah.
That's cool. So it's an actual decision. Okay.
Yeah, which kind of reminds me of like the old Defiance mechanic, but not necessarily. A little bit different.
Sorry.
So over there, what's that guy doing? What's that person doing with the bow? Down on there.
He's an ad that will just
He's an ad.
attack you, and the mechanic where you start to run away in fear and get afflicted with agony, that like eye where you have to look away, it also is shared on all of the ads around the arena.
Oh,
so the more they're up,
nice.
the more it becomes difficult to actually like look into a safe direction.
Is there?
Yeah.
Is that a mechanic in the game elsewhere? I feel like that's a mechanic elsewhere as well. What?
We do have look away on a couple other enemies.
right?
And
Okay.
I think it was a really big feature on bounties, I believe. Certain bounties had like the paralysis effect, where if you looked at them, you would turn to stone.
Right. There was a raid there as well, right? One raid boss maybe? Maybe not. Ooh,
There is one. I'm trying to remember who it is, but yes.
like Mateus or something. No.
It's got the tether. Does anyone have the tether?
I don't know. Is it me? Probably. Who knows? Uh-oh. What's going on?
The ad tether.
Oh, I've got it now.
Oh yeah.
Do I go over there?
Yes, you need to grapple over there and break the break bar.
Over to that guy, a person thing?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep,
I'm
yep.
And you're gonna.
slowly
Can I
going.
give you a little tip?
Sure.
You're gonna want to. Okay, you got it. You're fine.
Awesome.
And it's specific to players, so we can't help you.
Ah,
Which does
okay.
kind of hurt if you're playing a healer build and you don't have any like CC. You're like, what do I do?
Then offense.
Awesome. I like that as a mechanic. That was cool.
Yep.
That
I
reminds me of
am.
something.
We'll talk
no.
more about it later, but one thing
no.
I find really frustrating is that sometimes the gun kit won't like go away when you click it to go away.
Oh,
and so
really?
you'll end up on the platform like just there I was trying to get rid of my gun pack like 3 times and didn't have it like go away and kept trying to hit like to get rid of it, but instead when I try to then do my damage it would just not like the gun kit would still be active. It's like I would pump myself off the arena. It's tough because I like the idea of this kind of unique gimmick, I guess, to some extent, but I also find it very disruptive.
Yeah.
Like, in the like navigation of like a fight content, even though I do really like this boss and this encounter, I find it to be a real hassle trying it. I know some people don't have that same difficulty, but
My one complaint with the actual special action rifle is I'm someone who plays with key presses, and when you are using your own weapon, you can press your special action key to summon the rifle. But once you're in the rifle, you can't press the same special action key to go back to your weapons. You have to then do a weapon swap. So it's just like that little element of
That's a good point.
not being as
Consistency?
smooth as it has been in previous, special action
Right.
kits that you have.
That's
So
a
for
good
me, I was
point.
like, I was trying to swap back when I was first doing this fractal, trying to swap back to my weapon, pressing the special action key, thinking it would swap me back to my weapon, and it just, I was like, oh,
maybe that's
weapon
what's
swap.
getting me.
It might be.
Because that might
be.
be it. Because I keep thinking it's gone, and then I'm like, I'll hit my button and it'll just punt me off the edge, and I'm like, why is the gun still here?
Does the gun do any damage? Actually, I'm just gonna see. Oh, it does. It does do some damage. No, it
Maybe it
doesn't. No, it
does the
doesn't. No,
third
of course
one?
it doesn't. I'm just shooting the flipping harpoon gun in the ground. That's funny.
So
You can
Jebro,
use it.
do you know who this is now?
I wasn't
Do you
paying.
know
Oh,
who it
Connect
is?
side. There you go. Hey, sick. So you were right then.
He has a really interesting piece of dialogue, just to point out, in case you missed it, where he says,
Yes.
I don't often mingle with prey, but you've earned an introduction. I am Kanaksai, Scythe of House Orcus, bringer of nightmares, and yours, it's just beginning. Which a lot of
He
people have
is-
been really excited about, because it's the first time that we've had, at least as far as I know, and maybe everybody else can confirm, it's the first time that we've had like real delineation of something like a demonic hierarchy or like nobility houses, or some kind of like organized
That-
greater societal structure or like ranking of hierarchy for demons, which is really interesting.
That's really intrigued me, like just from the lore element when he revealed that. I was like, oh,
So this
he's like,
is-
this is what I'm part of. This is something bigger than just me being a demon doing my own stuff.
This is definitely expansion related then, you're thinking?
Yeah.
As well, for sure.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
totally right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
In this phase 2, if and when you go out to the edge of these little platforms, look for the one that has there's like a little lore scroll on one, and that's the additional lore in this final part of the fight.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember which one. Oh, it's over here. It's over here. It's by Fornax.
Oh god. Oh god.
Oh, son of a.
Oh, same.
Yeah,
Oh,
you have to
God.
go. You have to like way overextend the grapple hook.
Oh,
I don't know if that
whoops.
was just me or if I just like.
Wait, where do I go?
We're over. Fornax and I are on a platform where the lore bit is, if you want it.
Okay.
Oh god, I got scared off the platform.
I'll have to. Can we do it at the end? Can I do it at the end?
The one thing about doing it at the end is that at least when I was doing it, I could not find any way to refresh my gun. So if you don't have enough grapples left, you won't be able to get to the platform that has the
No,
lore.
I don't have any grapples left
I
anyway.
kind of wish that these were just
okay.
jumping mushrooms.
Me too. Me too.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
the gun during the platforming part is fun and it's flavorful, but I think in the heat of a combat situation, especially at higher tiers, I think it would of course require a little bit more mastery. But even then, even if I was like I got everything down pat, I don't know if this would be like the most fun thing to interact with, mid-fight.
Yeah.
I guess it's the whole making sure you don't use them up, right? And like it's another resource that you have to manage, but not really that important, right?
It's like,
I
but
guess.
if the resource that you already have to manage is your cooldowns in terms of when to break bars on Kanaxai, and then also the ads during phase changes, sometimes I feel like that is enough, even depending on like the build that you're playing, because some builds won't have any CC effect.
So is this in the higher levels? Does any of this reflect? Like they was doing like a spinny attack thing with Jake. I was wondering like if that was like a reflect or something they did maybe.
I think it just gets harder. There are more ads that spawn from the start, and I think more, as you can see, when he reveals who he is, he starts to throw out these axes. More axes target more players, so you have to be really smart at where you're placing them.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
I do really like the indicators that they used for the like take this out and drop it away from the group kind of thing. They mark it in this fight a little bit differently, where the like persistent arena effect you're about to drop has this kind of like spinning red arrow bordery sort of thing around it. And it was the first time I could remember seeing that specific marker, but I thought it was really effective. I don't know if maybe it has, don't remember, but the idea of like players having to direct these, bait them, drop them, and then like having that visual indicator that it's going to leave some kind of persistent effect, these spinning axes in its wake, I thought was really effective.
What was the NPC doing there? Came up and he was like channeling something to some ad.
The enemy?
No, our friendly NPC. It was like a spirit or a ghost or something. Do you see him? Isn't there? He is now. What's he doing?
Are we sure? Are we on the phase change now? Or are we on the? Oh, I'm gonna die.
Like, what's he doing there? Is he just like helping us or something? I don't know. Must be.
I got it. Oh, like the light orbs.
Yeah. Well, like,
I think
he's
those
like
are just more
healing.
like area attacks. There are some.
Oh,
like,
he's
aim attacks that
channeling. He's channeling.
I still don't
to a
really
mob.
know what that does.
I
Okay.
wonder, okay, now
Maybe
hear
just
me out.
target.
What if in the CM, the whole arena is pitch black, and you have to put those light orbs down in order to even see what's happening? And
I don't know
or
why. I
if
was
the
wondering what those
ghost
were for.
spots them. Yeah, because I was wondering that too, because you don't need them for the vast majority of the rest of the dungeon. So, I wonder.
Oh, and I got an achievement too.
Let me see if I can go get this lore snippet to read for you.
I've got two charges.
Okay, then you
I
should be
have
able to
zero.
read it.
No, I got them back. I don't know
If
how.
I jump off.
Where is it? Which one is it on? Which one is it on? It's a little scroll at the edge.
No. I don't have any charges. Anyone to mesmer?
Oh, it's here with me. It's here.
find
it's
it?
here.
You
It's
find it?
here. It's on this one.
Okay.
I can't get over there. Ah!
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You can look it on stream.
Oh wait, no. Oh, no! I got over there. I landed on the bouncing mushroom and it took me back. Ah!
Oh, nice. Wait, you got there?
I
the
got
bounce?
there because I had
Yay.
2 charges of my explosive launch left. I got
Oh,
there.
sick.
I landed on the mushroom and
no.
it tossed me back.
Yes, yes. I have had that happen to me. I have undershot the platform 100 times. That's why I had to rerun it the first time that I did it, because I literally had no way to get back to the lore.
No.
I can't even take the portal back up to recharge.
I'm sorry. Do you want? There is a portal here. Can you get there, or do
You can't interact with it.
Maybe they should allow that.
There we go.
Do you want to read it,
There
Rick?
you
Or
go.
Chris, or Rick, or whoever?
Gadget pack,
Who wants to read it? Who wants to
pink
read it?
fluff. You came in clutch. Thank you so much.
That's smart. Griff, do you want
Sure, I can read it. Oh,
or Rick,
there's
or
also
who?
there's a good point. Orbs also allow you to get more charges on your heart move if you mess up. Oh wait, never mind. Oh, skill 5. Ignore me. Never mind. I thought chat. I was like, chat has a that I didn't pick up on, and then I went, oh wait. Sure. You want me to read it?
Whoever wants to read it can read it. Yes.
Does anybody else want to? Crew?
Sure. I haven't read this. Sure.
There you go. Rook looked
writing is
really
erratic.
upset. Then I'm just gonna notice.
Oh no, no, you can't.
Oh my god. Jebro got
Wow.
emotions on me.
You're like,
I was not
I'm
upset.
joking. I'm just
Writing
messing.
is erratic, frenzied.
Silly.
Blood silence and regret. I still feel regret. I watch the spark of life leave Natus's eyes before rolling them and the others into the abyss below, where my new master waits. Defiance welled up inside me, a few tears, one last gasp of air, but it's done. I remember his fanged smile before he returned me to my slumber the night before last, my bloody daggers hidden where my waking self would not find them. Sintry, Marago, Odamos, they served Arya well. Now they'll serve him too. Soon I'll join them in the ravaging nightmare where I belong. My regret, my fear, my rage, they belong to him now.
Oh man, this is cool. I don't know. Actually. Let's have a look. There's always the thing to go to the next page. They bait you so hard in this game with that. They're just like every single time. It's like there is enough. Oh, fine. Okay.
There's not.
There is.
So the implication, as far as I have read it, and you can all tell me if your thoughts are different, is that Commander Thess, like part of the reason why earlier in one of them he says that everybody's on edge, they keep saying that I'm looking at them a little too long, is because he's been corrupted by Kenexai and he has been killing the crewmates one by one, but he doesn't remember it because he does it while he's sleeping. And so I don't know, like when he kind of throws himself off here at the end, I don't know if it is like his last final attempt at liberating himself from the control. He's leading another victim down, like the dialogue we get earlier on where it says like you found another one, the hunt continues kind of thing. I'm not sure if he like throws himself off there at the end because he doesn't want to sacrifice another unwilling victim, and some part of his conscious recognizes that or what. I don't know. It's all really interesting. It's terrifying. I think the ambiance of this fractal is fantastic, and the fact that you think you're going with him to kind of figure out what happened but then at the end realize that he's what happened to the crew, and that it has this demonic twist to it, I thought was really chilling and good.
This is the type
it has a great horror vibe. Sorry.
Yeah, this is the type of, as Fornax said, horror direction I'm excited to see in Secrets of the Obscure, just with more demonic forces that manipulate and slowly lead people down darker paths and then just do like really horrific stuff and like take such joy in it. I love it.
That's what I want. That's what I want from this expansion. Real like just I want the darker side of Guild Wars 2. I really need that like in my life. And I actually think that boss looked very cool. Like it looked very good. I like that the fight was cool as well at that tier as well. It doesn't feel like you have to really think about it too much, but like you can imagine it being more difficult for sure.
Tier 4, you definitely have to stay on your A game because many of his area attacks, and if you don't successfully do that phase where the ads are on the platforms, he will do like a larger attack that will knock everyone off and kill them. It ends up being very punishing. So tier 4 was very, very fun, and I was playing on a character where I didn't have enough AR, and I feel I'm so sorry to my group. I was a little under, but then I just swapped to a healer and I had enough. And that's why Fractals and Agni Resistance are sometimes a bit of a headache for me, but
yeah, not a massive fan. Like I think account bound AR is definitely, I mean, maybe we can have that because it didn't take too long. Maybe we can have a little bit of an extended Fractal chat, I think. But we won't like go mega long into that, but also want to talk about how we felt about the Fractal in general. I'll give my first impressions.
Fractal review portion starts now.
Fractal review, thank you for chapter. This is a chapter in the YouTube video because that's actually really helpful. If anyone ever wants to do that, because when I go through chapters, I pretty much just have to listen to the entire thing, like just to go through chapters, and sometimes just go through it and be like, right, Chris said a funny thing, say something there, and I just someone did something.
I'll help you. There we go. There you go.
Oh my god.
There we go.
Scary.
Perfect.
Okay, so I want to hang out, I guess, here while we're here anyway, and just talk about it. So, there's another shark down there.
There is.
Oh my god. What? Is there anything
We
else?
were talking to, when I first ran this, I was talking with my chat about the fact that, I mean, Deep Sea's one, terrifying, but,
Yes,
but,
it is.
also the fact that the Leviathan that we see in game is a juvenile Leviathan. And then we had the whole thought of like, just how big, because I think we've seen possibly some remains that might be like on par with the scale of a fully grown Leviathan. But like when you see these huge shark things down here and you think about the scale and scope of fantasy within Guild Wars 2, it's like, like I immediately get really sweaty and really scared. But in like a good way, but also in a bad way, but in a good way.
I'm just trying to see. I do like the idea of these flares though, because it gives you that idea of like unexploredness. Like, you know, makes me think about Deep Rock Galactic, which is a really awesome game. Has dwarves in it as well. No surprise there. Why it's amazing. And you just throw flares out to explore in this like alien kind of world that you're mining and stuff. And it reminds me of that, and just like exploring, and that you're kind of looking into this new place that just no one's really ever been before. And there's like spikes and stuff down there. Hey, what is that?
What's what?
There's like these spikes coming out of something which is kind of on the floor. Or is it just like a... That's interesting.
Ooh.
It
I just-
kind of looks like... Oh, I don't know what that is.
Does it look like a creature or something? Or is it just like the... It
Oh,
looks like something.
You know what it kind of looks like? Like a really upscaled model of like a risen drake. Or like the spiny back.
There's a
kind
horn
of.
there.
It reminds me of the you know, in the cavern in Gyala Delve where those weird tentacle faces are.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of their weird, creepy maws. There's a lot of strange sort of pseudo-organic material in here. I was just noticing this, and I'm gonna hate myself, but I was just noticing this pulsing pustule that's like up on the ceiling. Like if you look at it, it almost like it like wiggles, or like seems like it has almost kind of
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah, you
this
see?
thing?
that thing. Yeah.
Ew!
Yes. Super gross. So I do wonder, like, are they like, you know, devouring or consuming whatever life is in other things or other creatures, or like are these remnants of life that destroyed or like are rotting down here? I mean, we see those weird tentacles that are feasting on the ley lines in Gyala Delve. So it seems like there are not like natural to the sea things that are in here that are like parasitic or like forming, right?
Yeah, look at this thing down here. This is like more of it. This is like, it looks like a claw. Like it looks like a big claw or something. I need to know, Ken or whoever is in the chat, please. Is this a thing? I need to know. It looks like a demon. It does. It looks like a foot or an arm or a hand or something. It probably is nothing. Like, you're right. Like, it looks like some demonic formation of something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's nothing. What was the gasp?
I held myself off. It's fine. I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Carry on.
That was
Carry
a
on.
wild
I thought
wild
you
reaction.
found something. Easter
There was,
egg found.
yes.
Oh, I see. Ken says it's just spoop stuff.
Ah,
That's also
stuff.
possible.
There's
It's
no
just
lore,
spooky.
really.
It's just spooky.
It's like spoopy.
okay. Fine. You
Spooky
should have
has
said
no
you'll
reason.
find out in the expansion.
I mean, it definitely has that line of like, this is the Jade Sea, and many times underneath large bodies of water, there's always that sense of mystery of like, what is down there? And it really allows like the freedom of imagination in terms of just the assets that could be placed here, and just like go quicey with it, go a little horrific with it. I love it.
Look at that.
Yeah,
I mean,
shark
good.
as well. That's so cool.
I also
will-
love the. Sorry, go ahead, Fornex. Go ahead.
I was going to get nerdy. I will say that if you actually look and take an interest in life at the bottom of our oceans, the small amount that we have actually explored, there are some extraordinarily strange looking creatures and some nightmarish looking creatures and a lot of bioluminescence as well, which I think that the team took a lot of inspiration for the kind of the lighting here. It does have that phosphorescent, bioluminescent kind of feel to it, which just adds to the kind of the eerie unearthliness of the place, which I really love. I love that attention to detail.
Yeah, I really love that.
There are vines protruding out of this poor shark's mouth.
Yeah, one of them's got like something going through its mouth as well, and is it like a?
Yeah, there's some gnarly stuff down here. Some gnarly spoop stuff for sure.
As well, yeah. It looks like you know, some of this stuff has been pushed through them when they've been killed. Like, you know, there's these like. Man, that's kind of gruesome. This is kind of dark, Kent. I'm not gonna lie. This is kind of.
We are having our horror sort of era, yeah. I do really like, and I wanted to mention too, because I think the writing in this one is so fantastic. The lines that we have from Kanaxai, where he says, "The timing of my return was fortuitous. To behold such bounty, the anguish of thousands served to me on the winds of a madman's wail." So, I don't know what all of our theories are, but it is very interesting. There's been a lot of discussions about like why now, like is it like why would the cryptids be trying to now? Is it because the draconic cycle is over? Do we from this glimpse think that the awakening of this faction had to do with something with this mass event of anguish, and that the perhaps like anguish perpetuated through the destruction of the dragons only grew them stronger? Is it like there's a lot of interesting things with that, and Kanaxai does not die here, which I was curious to hear all of your thoughts on it. Do we think that like narratively, timeline wise, that's because he shows up in Guild Wars 1, right? Like, because you defeat him. I didn't play this content, so I'm not really sure, but from my understanding, you defeated him in something sort of pseudo like a raid, right? And I don't know if it's believed that you killed him there, or if this is meant to be a bit of an allusion to him being kind of player in what's to come for Secrets of the Obscure.
I can answer that if nobody else wants to.
I have no idea.
So this is the moment after the Jade wins, after the Harvest Festival, the blessing of Duena is corrupted, and the oceans have just been turned. So that is like a pivotal moment, and the amount of energy put into the system or released in this capacity, people think that it kind of weakened the barrier between realms, between mist realms. So in terms of Kanaxai, so when you fight him in the deeps, he has different aspects of himself, and you have to defeat all those different aspects. So canonically, we're encountering Kanaxai before the people who played the original game are encountering him. He goes back when the Luxons have recovered, when they're mining the jade, and they encounter him in the deeps, and you have this exact same thing happening. The same thing that was happening in Gaia Dells, which is why it was so kind of obvious for anyone who'd like played the original game to see what was happening, because it's a slow kind of withering madness, and the trigger is proximity, and the deeper, and I think it's a metaphor. The deeper you delve, the worse matters get. The more you look into the evil, the more it consumes you. And I think there's an analogy to the Lord of the Rings with the mines of Moria, that the dwarves delved too deeply and too greedily, and they aroused something. It was a Balrog in the Lord of the Rings. It's Kanaxai in the Guild Wars universe. And we don't know if we killed Kanaxai. We killed many aspects of him, but he is one of the army of darkness. He is allied with Doom. He was allied with Abaddon. He was allied with Menzies. He's a harbinger, a bringer of ruin and corruption, and he feeds on the suffering. personally, why I think that it's happening now is not necessarily because our internal cycle has been disrupted, but I think because Kraukatoric went on his rampage through the mists and destabilized not only our realm, but countless realms. And the Guardians at the gate, the spoiler alert, the Astral Ward, the Wizards' Council, the Guardians, I think that the human gods placed on the gate to protect us, to protect the humans that they'd rescued from their home world, from whatever was trying to get them there, and fleeing to this world. The Guardians on the gate, their job there has been disrupted. The protections have been disrupted because of what he did. And so now this is... We're reaping the consequences of Kraukatoric's insanity and destruction. That's my thoughts. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, this is everyone, like, people in chat, like, excited about hearing all this stuff. I'm like really, like, lore-wise, I'm just learning everything now, because it was just the reason I started playing this game was PvP, and that's all I cared about. And now I'm like relearning all the lore, especially for all of you, like, from being your various passions and informations and all the things about it. Like, it's been informations. Apparently that's a new word I just made up. So yeah, it's really, really awesome to hear. Good stuff. Okay, Kent said something. The original shipwreck crew, Ariadolis, Nautus?
Nautus would be my guess.
Nautus?
Or like Nautilus.
Okay,
Nautis.
Nautis. We're like a first contact. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Ah, okay. I love that. Yeah, because like when you start at the beginning, you do get that idea of just like there's nothing else around. Like there's just this broken ship which is shipwrecked, and you go and find these people, and it reminds me of like almost an Alien kind of the movie, like, you know, when you go and find these things and there's demons and you wake them up kind of thing. Not really exactly the same, but it just gave me that Alien kind of vibe. But I love Alien.
Yeah.
I've got to go and see that again.
I mean, that's part of the horror that I think was so effective in this Fractal for me. Because, like I said, when we were first getting into it, I hadn't really considered how scary it would be to be stranded out on the ocean. And honestly, I don't think you're that far off, Jebro, right? Because there are so many stories about being stranded in deep space, right? The idea of being in a place where there is, in essence, like nothing, and having no idea how you're going to get back to a point of contact where there is civilization or people or resources or the familiar. So I think it carries a lot of narrative parallels with that. And when you think about how vast the ocean is, when you think about even ridiculously in recent times, the submarine and everything that happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the conversations that brought up about how long it even took to find the Titanic initially, right? How long it takes to find anything in the ocean, because we think with planes, with boats, with everything that, oh yeah, like it's you cross the ocean, we fly overseas, sure it takes a while, but our world feels perhaps small to us in some way. But like when you are out in a place like that, and when this kind of terrible event happens, these crews or people that were on ships, or like Fornax was talking about, right, with the Luxans, who had so much of their civilization tied to the waters, or, you know, tied to this way of life. And then suddenly the one mode of transportation that you had like planned your journey around, you knew how many supplies you needed, you knew it was going to get you from point A to point B roughly in X amount of time. Suddenly that is completely useless to you. You have no land transportation. You have no mode other than walking. So like when you get that journal entry where they're talking about, do we risk going down and hope that maybe we find some kind of exit, or even perhaps we find those sharks that are half exposed in the jade and we manage to chisel some meat off of them or something to try and eat, or because like they couldn't even fish. So when their supplies get stolen by the Naga, like you can't fish, there are no other plants, there's nothing you can forage, there's no life that was in this radius that you can hunt on the JC.
You know? Get bits of that shark.
Get bits of the shark.
Yeah. You're in a desert.
You're like in a desert basically, and the scale of that is terrifying. I think the setting of this was so cool because like I had not thought about that perspective, or what it would be like, kind of similar to what you were saying, to be stranded in space or to be lost in the unknowable, to be lost in a place you thought you knew how to navigate, but that like now suddenly you're having to make decisions. Do we go down, or do we just try to go as far as we can before we just die of starvation or dehydration? It's really fascinating. I that's probably the thing that I love the most about this Fractal. I really love the setting. I love the writing. I love the storytelling. Good.
Well,
You can tell why people loved Factions, can't you? For the setting of it, it's amazing. I think that's the untold kind of tragedy of the Jade Winds, because it not only it decimated the ocean, so the Luxon, the fish, people were starving, the Luxons were starving, but the Kurziks were starving because it decimated and petrified the forests, which put a massive pressure. You had a massive influx of survivors into the city, into the Imperial City, and the places that weren't touched, like Shinjie, that put a huge amount of pressure, and that caused a lot of the interracial conflict with the Tengu there, as well as everyone's fighting over resources because there's a whole nation starving because the forest has been decimated and they can't fish fish from the ocean. And it's really, it's so grounded in kind of really pertinent things. I love the fact that it's really grounded in the bare bones realities of survival as a species. It's super interesting and brave topic.
So, okay. So we've heard any. Let's start with the good. Let's start with the good then. Rook's kind of said there the good stuff. You can obviously add if you want to. I'll add some good stuff. I know that the harpoon gun thing is like, you know, there's some of us may not enjoy that as much. I actually kind of really did enjoy that. But I think, as a way of getting from place to place, if you think about how many encounters there are actually in the Fractal and how much you're actually doing combat-wise and as a character, it's not too much. You're kind of just going from one area to another, which is kind of, you know, the same for a lot of other Fractals as well, honestly. But, like, I kind of like that idea. It did give me that sense of exploration and wonder that I do like to have from an MMO, I guess, just in a world, but just that idea that no one else has really been there before. I kind of like that flare part of the gun is really a cool addition. Like, I really like that. We haven't really seen that before. Other than, there are some darker places, I think, you know, in some maps. Dry Top reminds me of that, where you can, you know, use some abilities to give some light to the different areas, sort of like in the caverns and stuff, which makes you feel like you're kind of exploring a place for the first time. I like that feel. For sure. I like, you know, the areas, the cavern, the mix of portals, some of the storyline, those little bits and bobs we're finding where we're reading about what happened to the previous people who were there. I love that. The kind of horror atmosphere that's in there. You know, we're talking about Eldritch. We're talking about just the creepiness, I guess, as well, is pretty cool. The boss mechanics seemed seemed fun, and I was fairly engaged. Will I go back and play this, though, many times over for different reasons? Not massively into Fractals, so probably won't. But, you know, I'll probably go and try it on a harder mode. Is it a little bit disorienting and when you kind of where you're going? I agree that it is a little bit difficult to maybe see where you're going the first time, but I noticed when I died the first time or fell, there was a red arrow pointing me where to go. So that was good. I feel like, you know, so it did make it less confusing when I did fall down. I think it's just kind of fun. What I think they could have done was to have very secret areas in there so that you used it more. So it was more of a feature of the Fractal and you could just get to places and get like a little cheeky armor skin or something by collecting different coins or something that just randomly fell down. I don't know, like using that gun to like just do little mini jumping puzzle around there. I feel like they could have used it a little bit more there. Yeah, I kind of just enjoyed it. It was okay. Like, you know, it wasn't like, this is mind blowing and everything, but like, you know, there was a theme and an idea of the future, I think, and I think that's what it gives me. It gives me an idea of the potential story, the potential themes and areas we may encounter in the future, and how they're creating a very different idea of, I don't know, the world, of just their storytelling and everything. And so I think it gives me some good ideas of from the future, hopefully. I don't know. Does that make sense? I waffled a bit.
Yeah.
But I like the direction it's going. I don't know. Yeah.
I was like, Krupp and Fornax, what were some of the things that you liked from the Fractal? What were some of the positives?
Yeah.
My favorite element of the Fractal, as most of my favorite elements of any game, for this one in particular, was the boss fight and the mechanics that the boss fight held. I think the arena was so great. It looked beautiful. It really set the stage. But then when we got to fight Kanexai, the actual mechanics were interesting. I think the use of looking away could have been bland, but I like that they've spiced it up with that mechanic reflecting with the other ads in the arena.
Really good. Great. Yeah.
If it was just one central point, it'd be too easy. But as you grow in the tiers, more of them spawn more frequently. So you begin to wonder, like, oh wait, this place that I looked at was safe, and then the face changes, and all of a sudden it's no longer safe, and you're just like, okay, I have to really be specific, and it can catch you off guard at times. I also really enjoy his dash mechanic when you all have to spread out and he starts to whirl in an area. You can dodge it, but it's not just one single attack. You have to really stay out of it. And if you get caught in his path, you're also struck. So in terms of needing to understand the arena and where everyone is at, it definitely makes you more interested in as to what your allies are doing and not just what I'm doing in the fight. So I really appreciate that. The phase change when you're going off to the other platforms and interacting with the actual grappling hook, I think there could have been something there. Would I have necessarily gone with that route? Maybe not. I think when you're in the heat of combat, sometimes it's a bit better to not add a whole nother toolkit that you have to then interact with, especially when it is on a limited resource. But I guess for challenging content, challenge modes, that could be an interesting idea. I'm a little half and half on that. So did I hate it? No. Did I love it? Not necessarily. It was, it was interesting for what the Fractal is. And yeah, I think just the fight in general was really, really strong. Really well done.
Cool.
Fornax.
So lore-wise, I
You
love
gotta
it.
start with the good first.
I loved the lore. I loved the depth of the Fractal. I felt like we were going down into the bowels of the earth. So I liked that thematically. The environments are always just beautiful. I have never ever had any kind of fault with any of the environments that we've ever had the fortune to like interact with. They're always just another character in the story. They always enrich the experience, and they don't fall necessarily into that. A lot of older games or traditional MMOs, they have miserable, stark environments, deserts, and we get to have these incredible adventures, terrifying adventures, and yet in these extraordinary, beautiful, inspiring environments, even if they tend towards a little bit of a creepy side in this time. So I really like that. In terms of the mechanics of it, things are always a bit complicated and a bit bamboozling when you first interact with them. So, yeah.
Bamboozling.
Bamboozling, yes.
I love that.
Would I like to see this interesting traversal brought into a map? That might be fun. That might be fun to have like the lower levels where you have to use this kind of thing because there isn't enough updraft to use your glider and you actually have to take. So would that be interesting? Yeah. Do I think we're going to get that with the upcoming expansion? No, I think they're definitely going to be taking advantage of the sky scale and we're going to have a huge amount of interesting, fantastic mechanics with that. But you never know because we're slipping into the mist realms. So yeah.
True.
As a healer, what do I think? I don't know how so I was druid healing. Now I've gone over onto my guardian. I don't know whether there's any kind of quirkiness when using the druid's avatar form, because that can fork up a lot of mechanics. Like for example, if you're at the Jade Moor and if you're in your avatar form, you cannot interact with and pick up the stones that you have to drop your avatar form. So that kind of thing I think that's a bit. I think it would be nice if they looked at when they have specific forms for characters. For example, it's like when you're in your necromantic form, you've got your big scythe on. It kicks you out of doing a lot of things. So I think that, especially for like newer players coming into it, I think that can be a bit of a, why am I dead on the floor? Why wasn't I able to interact with this thing? What is happening? But no, I thought it was great. I liked the fact that we're still using jumping mushrooms after all this time. I like the fact that we're traversing across on pre-Jade bot zip lines, which is great to see that this was like a consistent evolution of the technology. Kanaksai, well, who doesn't like being right? I mean, what are we gonna do?
So wait. Why were you right? Because you did it in the video.
So when we got Gael Adels, I completely predict Kanaksai immediately. It's like the madness, the delving in too deep, Kanaksai from the deeps. And to be fair to everybody, not a super gigantic leap. You know, it's not
You give yourself credit.
Here.
I'm going to give you it as well. I'm going to title this podcast "Fawn was Right."
Was right.
There you go.
Oh dear. Things that I didn't enjoy. I don't know. I mean, so here's the problem for me. It depends what you play for. So, Fractal runners want to be in and they want to be out and they want to be done 2 minutes flat. Okay. I'm learning this now as my friend who is a CM runner is taking me through tier 4 fractals, and he's holding my hand through this. And people, no fuss, no muss. We're going to do this skip. We're going to do that skip. And they just want to do it. They're not interested in the story. And that means that for someone like me, I really like that, and it can be fun, you learning all these different skips and different things, and it's amazing. But also, I'd like the opportunity to play the story, which is why I kind of miss the old traditional dungeons, because you can really like have a story playing through like you do with the different lanes and different paths through the old dungeons that we had, and you can really explore many different elements. There could have been several. If this was a traditional dungeon, it could have been split into several paths where we got to see the fates of the other people. We could have seen him falling into madness as he took out his friends, and then we follow him into the darkness to Kanaksai and that kind of thing. But it's the devs have to serve two masters. They have to serve the story, and they have to serve the gameplay. And when they privilege gameplay, I can't really fault them, because.
But I would argue.
King.
I mean, okay, this is maybe not to. If there's more you want to say, please feel free.
Argue.
But not to argue.
No.
Fight! 1v1 PvP arena. I'll commentate. Let's go.
Perhaps argue that I don't even feel like this Fractal, for as much as I really enjoy a lot of parts of it. So let me please preface this, because I'm about to get a little critiquey, but I want to be honest with everybody, and that I'm very excited. I liked what this heralded. I liked the tone. I liked the story. But this is perhaps my greatest critique of the Fractal, which is that I don't even know if I necessarily feel like the Fractal does serve gameplay. Because the amount of gameplay that we do in it is very small.
I said that earlier.
Compared to the entire Fractal itself, right? I will be honest with everybody, coming into it the second time, I did feel much better about it. I didn't die as much as I did the first time. I had a horrific experience with this Fractal the first time I did it, because I found that gun, and this again is not the case for everybody, and I was streaming and I was trying to have people and try to figure out this gun, and so that makes it much more difficult for me usually than it does for most people just going through. But I found the gun to be so distracting and so infuriating. Because like I wasn't sure, I was like trying to target the grapple, but it kind of undershoots you, so I wasn't going far enough. And then I was trying to figure out how to dovetail the ability. And then because we have something like the glider that exists in the game, and because with gliding you are often energy where you are popping it, stopping it, popping it, stopping it, and then when you get like close, you might, or you're using.
Is anyone else losing rookery at times?
Oh, yeah, you clip it out a little bit.
You clip it. Your mic's been clipping
just clip it out.
today. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I don't know what's going on.
It might be a Discord like getting your voice, the voice meter thing.
Yeah.
Whatever
Just
it
I
does.
don't know.
activation.
Get up and personal on that mic,
Alright, I'll
darling.
get
Just-
real-
Yeah.
I'll get real
As if you could taste it.
Sorry about that. But yeah, like for me, it was frustrating because I'm so used to using things like my glider where you don't you're conserving whatever resource. So it was hard for me with the parachute because I would compulsively stop it when I didn't need it in a descent. And then I'd try to use it again at the end, and then I'd be out of charges, and then I'd be dead, and I'd be reset again, and reset again, and reset again. And I didn't I just found it so frustrating. And to me, if you're doing something like PvE content, if I'm going in for instanced PvE combat content, generally is how I codify fractals, but of course there are more definitions within that. What I want to be doing is combat in PvE. And not like a gimmick with a gun thing and a platforming challenge. And that's not to say that you can't incorporate components of that into it. But for the conversation following Sunqua Peak, where they were saying we want to focus on gameplay as opposed to the more narrative or ambiance, I actually thought that this was far less gameplay because you have
it is. Absolutely.
You have like a couple small mobs that don't have anything really unique to them. You have a couple little things with that where you just kind of burn them. Then you have the pre-boss and then the boss themselves. And I like those last two fights a lot. But personally, I felt that Sunqua for me as a fractal delivered more gameplay because having to navigate the various areas while pulling mobs, having to avoid the water stuff, the different bosses that each had really unique and memorable mechanics. To me, I felt like this fractal almost more felt like it relied on the crux of ambiance and narrative than it did feel like instanced dungeon parallel content to me. And there's been a lot of conversation since then about, well, are things, are you going to be able to skip the whole platforming part or not? And I don't know, it wasn't as bad the second time around, but the first time around, I found the gun so frustrating to use that I just was like, I may never do this fractal again because I really found it unpleasant. And I hate to say that, I loved a lot of things about the dungeon or the fractal, and I really loved a lot of the setting and the story. But I don't ever love when I'm coming into content to like focus on or focus on my class or focus on my gameplay experience, and then something else is thrown at me that I feel like I have to scratch that makes me feel like I'm, being set back in some way with like my understanding of things when I'm coming in to engage with something to show that I can push my buttons. Or like not even like in a sweaty way, you know what I mean? But just in a way
be like, I got this. This is what I'm used to, and this is what I expect to play.
Do you think? I mean, this is like a content creator kind of thing as well, and in that situation when maybe it feels frustrating to be seen to not being able to do something as well. Is that something that came up for you when you were streaming it? Like, there's that difficulty. I mean, I know when I'm doing that on stream, it definitely is more frustrating when I'm visibly not able to do the things, which everyone don't admit too much about that, how often that happens, because I know that's every stream.
I get so mad.
It does add that extra level of frustration for sure for me. And I think when you went in, I think also like, because I kind of enjoyed the gun, like there was that enjoyment, but I'm used to that kind of mechanic also in ESO. That mechanic is in a few dungeons and areas as well in maps, and I was like kind of used to it. But then I kept dying when, like you said, with the parachute thing. I think there was that inconsistency of that and the charges, and also the weapon swap that Kroof said. That needs to change for sure. So I was just wondering, like, what is it? Is it like do you think the streaming experience added to that frustration, or do you think it was?
I mean, yeah, for sure. It's embarrassing, and it's also frustrating. And I encourage anybody who's oftentimes watching a streamer too, that like saying things in chat like, well, it's just really easy, or it's so obvious that you need to use X, Y, or Z. when it's somebody's first time coming in, it adds to that frustration.
Just don't fucking do it.
me playing Tomb Raider trying to figure out a puzzle.
Yeah, or if
Sorry,
it's like,
just don't do
yeah,
it.
well, if you just stopped, hitting it, too much, then you'd have enough charges. And you're like, cool, thank you so much for the very unhelpful you've made.
Yeah, that's what I
It's
say.
like, how do I
though.
do it?
I say that. I'm just
No,
like, can you
but-
shut up and stop being a dick? I'm just trying to do this
No.
and I'm failing. Like, just enjoy the
But
fail. Like, that's
I
what
say
I'm meant
that
to
with
do.
all the love in my heart, because it is embarrassing and it is frustrating as it does compound in a lot of ways. But I do also think that it brings up a good point, because I think that looking at the goal of content is also important, and why we might choose to engage with a piece of content, right? So for me, if I'm going to do a fractal, generally what I want from the is I like the story and lore and context. I actually think that's great. But like, of course, I'm not going into it primarily to have like a lore tour, right? Like, I'm not
Yeah.
going into it like I'm going to walk around, I'm going to put my RP walk on and nothing's going to happen. Usually why I'm choosing to engage with fractals is because I want instanced PvE content. And generally, because now that we have strike missions, which are in and of themselves, the way they've kind of defined themselves, usually a fight with a boss focus, though there may be phases, there may be other things, right? So this does create a new interesting question for fractals, that in the past, fractals had to serve as many things because we didn't always have as much of an array of content, right? So a fractal could be a single boss. A fractal could be what we would consider to be more like instance dungeons and MMOs. But now that we have strikes, and that strikes and fractals are being delineated as two different types of content,
Yeah.
it does bring up a question for us as players about how do we define fractals. And for me personally, this is not for everybody, right?
Okay.
And there are many ways to interpret this, but my answer to that is that I do desperately want something like instance dungeon content in the game. And I want something that even is going to be, doesn't have to be perfectly like other MMOs. I think you still have layers of interest that Guild Wars 2 offers. But I want there to be a focus on something that is a slightly longer form journey, in the sense of mobs, bosses, like I want it to be not just the one fight in the one arena. I want it to have a bit more stage and a bit more of the flow between different groups between it. And I want it to be something that's almost closer to that kind of more traditional MMO dungeon instanced content. So for me, I think that like something like this gun and the jump puzzle and all that stuff would have worked brilliantly for me in an open world setting, in a story beat setting, in an exploratory setting, right? But it felt odd to me within the fractal to have so much emphasis for like 75% of the fractal, when I was like, what I'm doing when I want to engage with a fractal is to have an option in this game for content that is instance PvE combat content. And so, yeah, I think that's just why it didn't resonate as much with me personally.
So,
Yeah, mine
on,
are mine own critiques are very similar to yours. For me, this felt like a 90% jumping puzzle, 10% combat. And in regards to the speed at which dungeons and fractals can be completed, this one feels even more confusing, because it's not something where players of their own agency can control based off of like super speed, swiftness, jumping mechanics. This really is just dependent on you going through zipline animations, bouncing mushrooms and other tunnels that you can't really control. Yes, in its totality, it is shorter, but it feels to me more of like an exploration instance rather than like something like a fractal. And another element that compounds that a little bit even more is the fact that there really was just like only one boss. To the point where I feel like this maybe would have been better for me. I would have responded a bit better if this was instead a strike mission, because the entire arena and the setting was fantastic. It was fantastic enough just for that arena. I got all the story. Of course, didn't have the rest of the notes, but yeah, I mimic a lot of what Rook has said in regards to the experience of a fractal versus a strike mission. So maybe I would have enjoyed like the first boss being like the main Naga chief who was raiding the ship, and then you go a bit deeper, and then you have to fight one of the first crew members who passed away and who perished there, which I think you do right before you fight Kanaxai. So I really appreciated that. And it taught more mechanics in regards to the fight. So there's always that through line of slowly teaching you the mechanics to the very end boss fight, which I think they still did and did it really well. But yeah, it just, I actually preferred Sun Qua's length and overall format of bosses as opposed to this one. And yeah, coming from a streamer perspective, for me, it's not really about failure. It's about delivering something that is visually exciting and captivating for the audience. And even as someone who does YouTube, you always want to have background footage that is visually captivating and exciting. When I'm editing something and I'm lingering on a shot, I'm like, well, nothing's really happening here. So, you know, I'll go to another shot that has a little bit more visual substance. And for this Fractal, it felt like there wasn't necessarily a great balance of visual substance, because it felt like most of the time you were just traveling to your next location to fight a mini event for a brief amount of time. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So I guess in a way, then I'm thinking, I wonder if this has got something to do with their new cadence of release of Fractal as well and strike missions, because if you go back and you check the wiki for how long it took them to release Fractals, you know, there was a good chunk of time in between some of them, and we're talking about years and years. And the production level and the amount of effort it takes to make these things is large. You're basically creating a new biome, a new area for telling its own story specifically as well, which you don't necessarily have to know everything about the game. So it is complicated. So I wonder if that will be the more typical experience we have for Fractals going forward, and because of the amount of time they have in production. Also, you could counter that with the fact that they are taking feedback, but it doesn't seem like, from what you're all saying, that has been totally taken in terms of gameplay, even though that's what was kind of required
even if it
from people.
wasn't like 3 to 4 bosses.
Yeah.
Even if it was just the 2 that we had, which was, I think, like Nolus, or that one, the member who died, and then Kanaxai. I think my issue was that they were positioned right after each other. It went from fight Nolus to directly fighting Kanaxai.
Yeah.
I think if we thought the first mini boss towards the middle of it, like you go through the very first part of your traversal experience, you stop at the platform, then fight it, then do your next platforming part, which then leads you to Kanaxai. I think if it was just spaced out a bit better, it wouldn't have felt like, oh, it's 90% jumping puzzle,
Yeah,
10% at the very end, you finally fight something.
So you want you basically everyone wants the idea of a mini dungeon, basically, with ads in between, with some kind of, fun mechanics, which they've done in other Fractals, but like, rather than just boss at the end, while you also are they trying to really mix in a lot more lore with the gameplay? I'm just kind of being curious about this, really. It's just an interesting way of thinking about, because I really miss dungeons. I just fucking love them. I think they were great. Like, they were so good. They were long, but they were awesome end game content. I really loved them. I really enjoyed them. And I think I would actually prefer, I'm going to get roasted in the comments for this. I think I would rather prefer like one dungeon like every year, or like something like that, like just continuing them and making them shorter rather than Fractals. But that's just like a personal thing. It won't happen because that's not the way they're going forward. But it's just, I just like the dungeons, remembering like launch and whatnot.
Well, I don't think it would be such a thing if Fractals were closer to like a scaled down dungeon.
Yeah,
like
true.
You know what I think that, like, saying I would rather have one dungeon a year versus Fractals. Dungeons, at least if we're looking at them traditionally from the core game, right? They are like, I don't know the exact percentage, but they're like 10 times as much work. So even
more.
if like
feels like
well, because you have multiple wings, you have all of the story, you're essentially making like 5 Fractals in one, right? Or something like that. So it's something where I think that if creating Fractals on a yearly, like a single Fractal on a yearly like you were bringing up, Jeb, if that is something that is adding multiple bosses and multiple trash packs and everything like that within them is something outside of the scope of what they are able to do, like you were kind of implying a little bit, that like maybe with this new pace, we're just going to have to see fractals get shortened because of the fact that they're coming out more regularly. I think there'd be no way possible at all that they could ever do a dungeon instead of fractals if that were the case. I don't necessarily think that is the case. I think at least the impression I get is that there's a desire to and they've talked a lot about this, and I am really excited about to keep an eye on the balance of content that they have available in the game, including things like instanced PvE content. And while we have no confirmation of things like returning, fractals are something that, again, gives us a slightly longer form, in some way, instant content than just one single boss, theoretically. So it's kind of putting fractals in an interesting place in that I think they do have to differentiate themselves from strikes. And I do think that some of the ways you can do that is like Kroof was saying, right, where you have multiple bosses, you pace it out, or the journey, or the focus on combat, or the whatever it is. However I want to answer that, we don't know for sure. And I think the definition of what fractals are has been very ambiguous for a long time, because they have stood as sort of multi-purpose thing that we get sometimes in place of other instance PvE content. So yeah, what were you going to say, Kroof? I didn't mean to cut you off.
I honestly, I'm trying to remember what I was going to say, actually.
I don't know. We haven't heard from Fornex
I have
for a
something
while.
to...
Go on.
Yeah, I'll try to remember.
So I have something to say. I'm not... So here's the thing. I don't want to rain on anybody's parade. I think it's a good dungeon, but I'm not sure that it's succeeding in answering the critique and delivering what people want. So, for example, I love Sunqua, despite the fact that I first did it on tier 4, which was traumatizing. But I love it because it's beautiful. There's a story. The environment and the environmental traversal is interesting. You have these interesting dynamic bosses with very unique mechanics. And the sticking point for the fractal running community was the long bit of monologue before you get to the last boss. I think that was the bit that kind of chapped their balls. Okay. They want to get in. They want to get in, they want to get out, and they want their fractal done as quickly and efficiently as possible. Do any of you think that these traversal mechanics are delivering the in and out quickly business?
No. And as I had, it's because you don't have like player agency.
I just heard that. Sorry. Sorry.
What?
I was surprised that you said some kind of...
Yeah, in and out quick.
No.
Giggity.
I didn't pick
But
up on that.
this is Fornex. I mean, like, this is just inbuilt, okay? Inbuilt.
I got pure there for a little bit.
I mean, it is
I need to get dirty again.
But it is like kind of like that, you know?
It's you just are forced to sit through animation.
Yeah.
And I might expand this to say that I don't purely think it is a speed thing, right? This is something that I see a lot. We want it to just be fast. We want it to just be fast. I don't necessarily think that's even the case. The idea is that we just want, and I'm not even part of the speedrunning community. Here I am like, yes, we the speedrunning community.
Rookery is the official speaker.
Yeah.
No, but I think the idea is that, and I see this even with like Mythic Plus dungeon stuff that I've been casting for World of Warcraft, right? The idea isn't that they want it to be as short as possible with like one boss and less than 2 minutes. The idea is that they want it to be as streamlined of an action experience as possible. So the things you are engaging with, the combat, the talking about skips and stuff. I mean, there are just as many skips that people did in OG dungeons, to the point where now if you run with a veteran, when I was first doing them, it's like, what is even happening? I don't even know what stood on a pillar
We
for
don't
5
even know what
minutes.
you're saying, so
Oh,
it's really
You just-
cutting in and out.
It was just
I'm
one
sorry.
chunk there.
Is
You
it-
were
I
don't
going
know what-
strong. It was just a chunk.
Is
I don't
it-
know what's happening. My mic has not been having problems, so
It
I don't
must be
know.
a Discord thing. Is it
must be
like
a
the
Discord
voice
thing.
settings where it
Probably
picks up the
not.
mic? Or is it like
they're all
So-
normal and they're set on their regular stuff. I don't know.
I just
Fun
put
fact,
something in
Guru.
the thingamajig.
I've downloaded, I've copied all the Stargle Gov porn, soft porn texts, and I was going to read them out
what
on
are
a
we talking
video,
about?
but then I decided, no, the chat.
Oh, you're talking to the chat.
He
Oh,
writes
you're-
smart. Yes, sorry.
Oh my
sorry.
god! I was like, "What? People can't see this. See the chat."
Sorry,
I
sorry.
should probably have the chat
said-
up because I was like, "What is
Were
happening?"
you trying to talk to someone else?
Okay. No, sorry if I've totally whiffed your cameras now. Okay, it looks
No,
okay.
it's fine.
I just wanted to try to come back in and see if that helps fix it.
Fingers crossed.
We'll see. I don't know. Please just like wave at me if it's really terrible and you can't hear anything.
Sure.
But basically all this to say that I don't think that it's like you need to gut the content of a fractal to make it as short as possible, but rather that the action needs to be uninterrupted by things that you have no control over the flow of within it, right? So having to sit for a long period of RP, or in this particular case, having to do something that is like technically still engaging with the game, but that has nothing to do with your combat, with your rotation, with your those sorts of things. It just has to do with this gimmick and getting familiar enough with it that you go quick through it. But I think really more so what it is that you just want uninterrupted action, and that within that you want ways to be able to get more efficient at it. Of course, could you argue that getting efficient at using something like the gun is still an exercise of efficiency? 100%. But do I think it carries the same demonstration of the culmination of your player's skill and your combat execution? No, I don't.
no.
So I think that's where the difference is.
And I'm not saying that this bleeds into any conversation about standardization of gameplay within Guild Wars 2, but of course, when you give a universal item to everyone, it could. But I'd much rather have an encounter where it's maybe just a touch longer. Doesn't have to be super, super long, but it's filled with like trash mobs and ads and alleys and pathing that you can go down. But in order to actually get better at that and to crunch down the time, you're able to master your own class through using their mobility mechanics, through using various classes' portal mechanics. Like we have a Necro, Thief, Mesmer, Blinks, Stealths. Putting more of that mastery onto the player themselves rather than everyone getting something that is similar and going through the motion of that. But not to say that this was so long.
I don't know.
But I also get the same impression that it was more so just an issue of having that role play moment right before a boss fight that you can't skip. It's not like a cutscene that you can turn off in, Deimos.
I don't know. I think they
So
should lean into
that's-
the. I think you just need to lean into the community's desire to do all those things, though, right? There's all sorts of little places where if you've got a mesmer portal, you can skip loads of stuff, and you can jump down when doing the molten fractal to like get to the elemental at the bottom. And there's also people are going to do these things because they like to kind of game the system, and I think that the developers should just lean into that, make the hidden places, hidden spots where you can actually, like you were saying, Jebro, you got this new mechanic thing, have
Yeah.
it take you to somewhere in there.
it
Maybe
needs to be more
we
involved.
just haven't found it yet. Exactly.
Maybe.
But like, if you're gonna introduce something like that is new and different, you really have to be like, here's how you use it. Here's how like do a little bit of a lore, like story bit, like, oh, we've got these guns, we've never used them before, like, you may not be used to these guns. If you press this button and you can do this and this does this, blah blah blah. Just a tiny little explanation, and it's just in the background. So even if you speed run, you don't even have to listen to it. It's just there, or it's just like a one-time activation thing or whatever. Because it is like, as an engineer player, I will say, like, it was kind of cool to have a big rifle that did something else. It was just like these blasts in the air which looked like bombs, and like it was little bomb blasts, like kind of like that, and the little parachutes, like that's kind of cool. So it was like a little bit of a different thing, but it was just really luck that I didn't die. It was just like I just pressed the button, and I was just like, I'm gonna keep pressing it until it stops, and then I'll parachute. I'm sure it'll be fine. But like, yeah, I get what you're saying. I think with the combination, they just tried to do a few different things, and there wasn't enough maybe of the different things they were trying to do, if that makes sense, in a really simple way. I think generally... Sorry, go on, Griff.
I was gonna say, like, I actually didn't mind the length of this fractal. I think it hits a good mark in terms of minutes that it takes to actually complete this fractal.
How long did that take us? I could try and
probably
see,
like
actually.
35 minutes. Of
And
course,
we were doing the
we're
stream,
taking
I
a
think.
little bit more time talking about the lore, which, you know, of course, people who are more roleplay focused, and that's another element where I'm not super upset at this being the form that it takes, where instead of maybe 4 bosses, it's just 2 or 3, because they are able to add these little notes and these books and collections that you can do to get more information in regards to the actual environment that you're in the fractal. And of course, the announcers and voiceover does a great job at exploring the role play and the lore of whatever fractal you're doing. So yeah, I think timing, I don't really have an issue with the timing of this fractal, more so just how things were spaced out, which made it feel longer and then shorter at the end, weirdly enough.
Agreed.
But I think that if they're able to kind of hit this time, and or maybe just a touch longer, I think that this was a very successful fractal in that regard, personally.
Agree. I think there were a lot of things this fractal did very well. I mean, the atmosphere, the ambiance, the storytelling, the boss fights, 100%. Some of those new mechanics, new markers, really great. The little details, even like Fornax brought up earlier, the Jade platforms that aren't Jade platforms. So the precursor to the technology, elementalists setting up these wooden, transportation wires. I loved those details. So good.
Yeah, very like old school, like yeah, like
And
showing you technology changes.
Yeah, and the actual length, like you said, the length itself feels satisfying, Karuf, in regards to, like, yeah, this feels like this was a good jaunt. It could get quicker. It takes a decent amount of time the first time you do it. Like, it could get quicker, meaning that, like, as you learn it and run it, it goes more smoothly and goes faster. But that, like, generally, I think it came in at a good time, and it felt like a good hunk of content with some great little teasers and things. I think it was more just kind of, that sort of division of that content and the types of things they integrated into it that were my only critiques. But overall, I still think there was a lot of really good things and a lot of really fantastic storytelling in the Fractal.
Look at the boss as well. I've got it on the I'm just kind of pausing moments. Like, the boss, just the looks sick. Like, it looks so good. Like the axes, just the whole demon vibe is just very cool. Like, I loved it. There isn't really many things in the game that look like him, unless you go to Ore, I guess. But like,
He's really true to, I mean, much like updated, but he's really true to his original character model as well.
Good.
He's beautifully updated.
And there are actually a collection of weapons that you can collect that are based off of Kenexai and this more demon aesthetic. You can get his axe. There's a battle staff, which is it's like a staff with it's basically a great axe that it looks like. It's really cool, but
And a dagger.
it's and a dagger and a longbow or
Wait, how do you do that? You have to do the fractal?
and maybe a sword. No, and that's what I was gonna say. It's
Damn it!
in Galadelv.
Why?
It's in
okay.
Galadelv. And maybe another way of just incentivizing fractal play is to to bring more unique skins to the bosses is either in the form of like a rare drop, and I know that maybe people might not like that, and or just updating merchants in fractals. And just to reward you more for doing
currency,
the fractal
like
themselves.
they did with dungeons with the currency, like spend currency to get skins which are unique to fractals. Like, I think that would actually be a really cool flipping idea. Like, it would encourage people to get people into them more, for sure.
Yeah, it just feels so disconnected that not super disconnected, because of course it's like the region in which Kenexai and the demons are there, but to have that in the open world PvE experience to collect those, or it's actually to start the collection to collect the skins, and it not necessarily be tied to the fractals or like a merchant in the fractals or an NPC, or by doing the actual fractal, unlocking those achievements. I think that could have also been integrated stronger into the actual fractal content.
So manifest weapons is what they called.
I think one of the strengths of Final Fantasy XIV is the fact that at least in the lowest instance of a raid, of a dungeon, you have to experience the story in it to progress. So if this fractal was somehow woven into the story of somehow that we go down, we fall into kind of like a Mistrealm fissure, it takes us to a simplified version of the fractal like we get here, and then players understand the connection. They see Kanaxai, they understand where these weapons come from. That there could be that kind of, because I think that they're so disconnected. This is a story. This is a game type that players do not have to interact with at all. You can never play a fractal in your life as a player of Guild Wars 2. And I think that I've found myself deciding to do different various weapon collections and deciding to do my legendaries. It's pushed me, as I think I've said this before, pushed me into content that I've kind of stayed away from, because it only took me a decade to get here. I mean, it's a short decade. But it's pushed me into content that stretched me as a player, introduced me to new people, really opened up the game for me. And I feel like that little nudge into something that isn't too horrific. It's not like you have to do tier 4s with CMs in nightmare mode on a thing with vomit. You don't have to do that. But it's just
at
that
the same time
with the vomit peak. I think just that little nudge into, and little like, look at this content that you could do. This is rather nice over here. It's just kind of getting people. It's getting the foot in the door for people. But the one thing before I forget, because of my stupid ADHD brain,
it's not stupid.
you were talking. Well, I mean,
it's not.
It's uncooperative at times.
Let us self-deprecate, Jebro.
No, not with that. You're allowed to say the other thing you were going to say, though.
So there's a juxtaposition. So I love that there are lore letters in this dungeon.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that regular... If you're jumping in to get the lore because you've listened to this episode, or you've seen something on YouTube, you're like, oh God, yeah, let's go and have a look. I'm not convinced that people are going to be too friendly to you jumping around. Oh, I'm just going to go off and get this thing. I'll be 5 minutes, and you're trying to get the thing, and you...
They are.
Do you know what I mean?
Except for that last one, they are all directly on the route, but that assumes that you even keep an eye out for them, and that you even know that they exist. Because if you don't know that there are there's a little piece of paper, you can always, hit your keyboard so that it shows name of thing, name of objects in the near vicinity, and it'll show you that there's a journal entry there. But for players who don't know that, right? Yes, that searching around, while all of the mixes with that last one are directly along the route that you have to take. I think even so, people aren't going to wait for them to sit and read it all, and so yeah.
It's not that I'm kind of I'm looking at this disapprovingly, because there has to be a balance between getting in there and getting your dungeon done and allowing players to actually enjoy the experience and taking some of the lore. So, if they're trying to use these type of things to kind of put the brakes on a bit so that people actually kind of, at least initially, don't try and run it with their hair on fire. I like that. It's a problem that I don't know how they solve, because you're butting up against community desire, and it's a nebulous thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I will also add on our conversation about integrating of weapons to fractals that technically you do have to complete the fractal in order to get, in Gala Delve, there are recipes that you can now get for these manifest weapons. So you can go to the vendor in Gala Delve and get the recipes from them, and then one of the required components that you have is something that you have to get by running the fractal. But I also agree with everybody's observations on it, in that
That's
the
cool.
integration of those rewards sometimes I think is that extra step that especially new players don't know to expect. So like,
Yes.
do new players know that there's a whole new
God.
set of weapons? It's like technically his letter takes you to Gyaladelv. Like he directs you to go to Gyaladelv. And so there is kind of like you can go over to the vendor and look and see what's different. But I think that something that is perhaps easier to comprehend in generally like many other MMO content is that if something drops directly, even if you have to run it a million times to try and get the thing to drop, like if you go into a dungeon in another game, you defeat the boss, you see that gear drops from it, and you go, oh, is there gear for my class?
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
you know immediately that like if you run that dungeon, you get gear, or if you have this standard, you get this thing, and that if you run it multiple times, you get it.
Yeah.
One thing that I think is sometimes difficult about collections is that if players don't know to look for the recipes, if they don't realize that sometimes these recipes aren't even crafter specific, they're like an achievement collection, if they have never done an achievement collection, if they don't know about like Silver Wastes introduces you to the idea of upgradable armor sets with the carapace armor, I think that's where you get the initial introduction to it. But I know that for me as a new player, it took me a long time to realize that I needed to avidly like dig through new maps to see if there were special upgradable things or collections or achievement sets, or you know, if I do this, then it unlocks vendor that does X, and then I get these recipes, and then I can upgrade them by using XYZ, and then I can. So I think in those ways, it does cause a disconnect for players with things like fractals, because either they're trying to wade through the idea of fractal currency and what that buys them, or then we're getting an introduction of new content like this where they're like, oh, so there's new weapons themed around this boss from the Fractal? Oh, but I have to wait, Gyaladelv, or you know, whatever it is there. It creates like these extra steps that I think do create that sense of disconnect that you were all kind of talking about.
And I only picked up on the fact that there were new weapons because I read the blog post and I read the patch notes. If I hadn't read the patch notes, I would have had no idea that these weapon skins were in the game until I came across them in game or via social media, because it's not my MMO experience to expect vendors to be updated with new collections or weapons or skins for vendors that are just out in the open world in a map. Usually there are new NPCs or new vendors added, or they are within an existing PvE structure that is a bit more approachable, similar to what you were talking about, Rook, when you're fighting a boss and they drop skins, you're like, oh, so this is what I can kind of expect. So I would have had no idea, but thankfully I did read the blog post, and I was like, oh, I can go to Gyaladelv. I think if you had finished the Fractal, regardless of going to Gyaladelv, if they unlocked the collections for those weapons, that maybe would have been one step to make it a little bit more satisfying and just bridge that gap, so that you at least knew that you're like, oh, I can go on this journey to go back to Gyaladelv now and finish out this weapon collection. So I think if both truths existed, like the vendor in Gyaladelv and or by completing the Fractal, it just would have made it a bit easier for people who don't read blog posts.
It's the dichotomy of hidden content that we have
Yeah.
God.
all the time.
Oh god.
And this is the solution. Just someone stood there with this. Take it. TM, no TMs for this. You know, just
Exclamation point.
Yeah,
Please,
absolutely.
just-
Quest vendors.
just
We've been
do
talking
it.
about this for so long, and it is so important that this gets put in the game. I don't care anymore. I'm just like, you like literally. So you know that the new armor I got in Gyaladel's, the what's it called? Blah. Let me just look it up. You just go on a whole journey. It literally gets you into fractals, because you have to complete a fractal for each one. It's the base level fractal. It's a tier 1. Like, no, scale 2 you do have to do for some as well. But it's like a very
special ops armor.
Special ops armor, that's right. And it looks great. Like, I love it. You know, looks aside, it's ascended armor. Like, it's ascended as well. Like, it's relatively easy to get. It also engages you in different systems in the game, like Ender Dragons, like the research tickets. Sure, I hate them, but it still engages you in system. That's a different conversation. But and it also gets you into the open world maps to do specific events. And guess how many times I did the events in those open world maps when I was going through them? 0. But guess how many times I did them because of this brand new armor set? Quite a few times. And like, it was fun because they were brand new events that I have not engaged in. They engaged me in the game in a different way. I found different areas that I liked. And I did map completion. I'd not been in the map areas when these events were on, so I didn't get to experience them, and I don't tend to always go back too much. Also, some crafting you have to do as well. You have to get some different materials to craft like different things. So yes, I would have to go and get some Dragon Jade. I would have to go and get other things. And also, guess what else I had to do? Some Ascended crafting as well. Like I had to make Mithrilium, and I had to do other bits and bobs. So it is a solid way that they get you to experience. There's so many, even just explaining it, there's more things than I even appreciate that are in that. Crafting as well, like Ascended crafting, like those bits. It really does involve a lot. So, and they hide it. They just do, like you said, Fauna. It's like, it could be just a real incentive, like a big part of it, just like you say, exclamation point, you have the option to create, or some kind of weird little movie or whatever, like intro to it, like the new special ops armor is available, like some kind of fun ad, like the Char flipping Ritlock Sab ad or something stupid like that. Like you could have some kind of fun comedy thing, you know, where it's like, today we've got this, if you learn how to do XYZ, and like it would just be, like, it's really engaging, and it'd be like, oh cool, there's this new armor set, and you've just got this vendor that can preview the armor, and you don't really understand the journey behind it.
Even if that vendor had, right, like, you all have my brain going, because I do think there are ways to like make this more visual. We get in-game mails sometimes, yes. So like at the start of this, with the new Fractal being introduced, you get that letter from Goric, which is great because it does at least notify players, especially players who weren't here when it was introduced, that, hey, there is something that you can do that will kind of expand your story and the context and content that you have post End of Dragons and leading into our next expansion and other things. So you get that letter, but I know many of us, because there is a max on letters as well, are very liable to just be like, and delete. And I looked at, okay, get out of there. Like, get out of here. My inbox is full, or whatever it is. So you might read it and then get rid of it. And then if you're like me and you log out and you forget that anything ever existed for you to do, and then you come back, right? It's not a persistent reminder. So if you did have something like a vendor, or if this was like a regular thing on a lot of the Guild Wars 2 maps, like you were saying, Kroof, where you learn to expect what the custom is in the game, right? So if it is that when you complete the story or whatever, you know, you do your first run of the meta or whatever the marker would be, that then if there is a vendor that updates on this map, that there is an indicator of that, so that, you know, like as I step on the map, like, you know, Fornax, you pointed out, like an exclamation point that pops up over there, and I'm like, what's this? And then I run over and I talk to them, and, you know, they say, we found more stuff, or, you know, like, this is more information, and, you know, here's this gear and this new set, and you know, or whatever it is. If that was something that they just rolled more into the flow of the maps and the hubs and, you know, those sorts of things, where as you unlock it or as you upgrade your mastery for Arborstone or whatever it is, right, a quest exclamation point pops up that then takes you over there, that then has, you know, points out, here is the vendor that has rewards for this. This is what that reward is. You know, you can at any time, even like a category or something in achievements where it would specifically be about like gear achievement or fashion achievement or something that like has that reward to it, gear collections or whatever it is. If you could even then like click on that at all times and be like, oh yeah, I haven't done that from Gyala Delve yet, or I haven't done this from Silver Waste, or I never upgraded the tier of this set. I do think that could kind of help codify some of this, because there's so much stuff to get, and like you were saying, Jeb, so much content that touches on it that's so fun. But that sometimes it's like, if somebody hasn't told you about it, or you haven't dug through the achievements, or if you missed the blog post or whatever it is, sometimes you don't even realize that there are those rewards, for sure. And I see chat even saying, like, I didn't know that there was an armor set or that there were these weapons, and like, I had no idea about that.
Really cool as well. Like, they completely, like, it's made my Asura It's very engineer focused and very like tech based, so it's very in tune with like, you know, the technology that they've got going on as well. And you can get backpack, there's loads of stuff, and the backpack isn't even that difficult to get. You can even do the achievements in the zone, so you can get this backpack that I'm showing off in the thing, or you can just use research tickets and karma, and everyone can get karma and everyone can get research tickets if you just
Very Halo.
yeah, it is very Halo. I love it. It's very cool. But it's like, you know, a different type of stuff. But this kind of stuff is available everywhere. You told me about those weapons. I just went and looked them up, and I was like, I didn't even know they existed. Like I want to go and get those now. Do you know what I mean? And that's me in the game. That's me in the game. In a player in the game doing a thing because I want to do it because they have the content, but they're not delivering. They're not telling us about it. And I'm just like, I don't want to go talk too much. I'm just going to get mad about it.
I must praise their willingness and ability to add these collections via the open world PvE system.
Yeah.
Because there are points in that collection that then lead players to go to Fractals. So I think that is actually really smart to do, is a little bit of that cross-pollination and that incentive for cross-pollination. However, as players who might interact with that style of content like Fractals, it's more about that expectation of feeling rewarded. And I think that's what really was the two misses. Maybe the integration in the open world PvE to make it a bit more understandable that there is a new collection to get weapons.
Yeah.
But then also for Fractal players, for them somehow to know that this collection even exists. So love that cross-pollination. I do appreciate that these weapons, A, look fantastic, and B, allow you and compel you to go to various areas of the game. It's more so just like nailing down how people acquire the knowledge of that they exist and or how they acquire this collection.
It's not even content.
I'm now gonna go and get these weapons.
Exactly.
Some of them are really cool. I want that
really are
staff
cool.
and I want that axe.
Why, like, it is literally, and the funny thing is like, you know, out of anything it is a complaint, honestly. It just is. Like, out of anything I'm complaining about, it's just funny that it's not really content. It's not the content at all. It's just the accessibility of it. It's not even accessibility. It's just telling us about it. Like, so that we know it exists. And I really feel like, isn't it funny? And there is a link, but I feel like there's an unconscious link here between this and like the PR they do sometimes. It's like, you know, telling us about the game out in the open world and also telling us about the content you have in the game. There seems to be this like disconnect there. Does that make sense? Like there's also this link of like informing the player, informing their community about things sometimes, which I think is really something they continually miss out on. And it makes me sad. It does make me sad because the game is so damn good. Like there is no question about the content in this game being such quality, like that we love, that we enjoy. It's just very infuriating when they're unable to communicate that to the player and to potential new players, because if we can't access this stuff, we can't get excited about it and pass on that excitement to others. It's just inherently unfortunate. It's just, I don't know.
Even if they did something that was more, I mean, again, I think it's about just establishing expectations and a place for those sorts of things to be showcased. I mean, it's just tough. I was thinking about 14 and how 14 always has they have like, of course, content that just directly drops items that you see and do all the time. And you know, like I get new armor sets for doing dungeons. I get new X, I get, right? But they also have these like end game hubs, which we have the equivalent of in Guild Wars 2, and have been more and more solidified with things like Eye of the North or Arborstone, or right? Like even if there was a roundup where, you know, at like the end of an expansion cycle, including the living seasons and stuff, and this location, there is somebody that has an entire list of all the acquirable achievements, collections, something like that. We're sure you could like discover them on the maps as well, but you would always know to go and look and make sure you didn't miss any by like talking to this specific person. You could see right then and there the preview of the gear that you could get if you do this thing, and you could click on it and like it would automatically make it your active or whatever. or like tell you what map to go to or something. It'd just be so nice because yes, I love it. And I love all the stuff there is to get in the game. And this new stuff is really fantastic, especially if you want to work on getting some new appearances, if you want some more incentive to run things like Gala Delve, if you're not, working on legendaries or whatever else. It's great to have this other stuff to get. And I'm so happy they put it in. But yeah, there's got to be a way like moving forward that they can more reliably have a hub or location, I think, or something, or the quest markers or the something, but some place where we can have this, here is the stuff.
Yes, it is literally that. It is literally like that. Here is the stuff you can get, and this is where you can get it. Like, this is the cool looking armor, and you just have, I don't know. Like, I was thinking about, like, how do other games do this? Do they do it? Does everyone have this problem? Like,
No.
I don't know if they do.
No, they don't.
I don't think they do. No. Okay, good. I'm glad.
Thing is,
well, not glad.
Sorry, so none of the MMOs that I've played have had this problem. And the thing is that there is value. There is real, genuine value to hidden content. Content that the community has to come together, they have to find. It's like in the original, in like vanilla WoW, there was the to make, I think it was Kel'Thalas or something, which was on a legendary blade. You had to go on this massive quest line, and one of the quest texts said, go find a cave with dragons in it. Literally, on the planet, go find a cave with dragons in it. And somebody did. It took them a while, but they did, right? Mm-hmm. But that is an epic kind of community-driven journey. Huge value. But this is like 70% of the game is hidden inside the UI, and you don't know where, and you don't know how to get to it. And there's so many things that you have to have this one magical item drop from fairy dust in order to unlock a collection. And
good way of putting it.
In it. So, so I mean, and so here's the thing. I understand that they want people to organically get out there and interact with the world and find, like, for example, in Echo Vale Forest, there are lots of little mini dungeons and hidden things to do with the Kurzeks, to do with the ghosts. You go in, you can find these extraordinarily beautiful kind of hidden places. It's great. But you have to give, especially, I've been playing this game a decade. I don't know where half the stuff is. You have to give players a mechanism. Say, for example, in vanilla World of Warcraft, dwarves had a thing called, it was like sense treasure. They could just like feel it, the vibrations in the air, right?
I didn't play a dwarf at all in World of Warcraft, and no one's surprised about that.
Super old school. We're showing our age. Boomer gamer confirmed, right?
Oh, back in my day when I could play a dwarf and I was happy.
Yeah, we'd wait for 7 months in Molten Car. Yeah, so...
Rook appreciates my old man voice. Sorry.
Well, I also was giggling because in my head, I immediately heard like a flashback to you at the start of the podcast saying, did you have fun at your anime show?
Truly.
Thank you. Oh my god.
Oh my god, that's so good.
Continue, Paula.
Sorry, yeah, let's drag it back.
I'm entering
let's not
my
talk
old
about how
man
old
era.
we are. Yeah, let's not dwell on that. But I mean, if they had a mechanic whereby you'd go out into the and you would sense, there would be some sort of, you could because you have all this magic and because you've been, I don't know, pick a reason why we can sense where things are and have it so that we have some sort of visual tell, like magical fairy dust or a glowing aura around thing, or anything. Just tell us where the content is, please.
I just think it needs to be logically placed.
Yeah.
So an example would be that these fractal or these weapons that are based off of the fractal, I believe should have been obtainable by playing fractals and doing that fractal. And on top of that, in the open world experience, we have quest markers in the game. We have markers that indicate some type of collection or quest journey to go on. I think if they were just more associated with that to show, oh, you can go and collect these armor pieces and these weapon skins, I think it would read a lot better. And they've done it in the past. And I just wished and hoped that after Arborstone, they would have continued that route with, Gyali Delve and adding other side quests that you can do. And it really, looking back, that's not how it worked out. Not to say that it they can't do that for Secrets of the Obscure or any future content. But I think the foundation is there. It's most definitely there. It's more so just applying it in a consistent manner so that it's understood by the community.
Essentially, especially when, and I think now is probably one of the best times they can do it, right? I mean, they're changing the cadence. They're changing a lot of how they just deliver this content anyway, just yearly. So like, why not take that opportunity to literally just give us quests? I mean, like, just do it. Like, just making more of this. I mean, I'm not going to harp on too much. I said this was going to be a short one.
Yeah.
and we're badgered onto this. I don't know why I said badgered. But we're banging on about this.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I just had a giggle because this morning we did have a Baldur's Gate 3 stream from the official Larian Studios that was incredibly spicy and incredibly hilarious. You do need to watch it, but Ken did ask you in the chat if you were going to, or Kent did ask in the chat if you were going to play a dwarf in Baldur's Gate 3.
There is no
Jebro.
other race that exists in the game to create.
Well,
other than a dwarf. Of course I'm going to roll a dwarf, Ken. Like, you need to spend more time here. It is the way. It's the only way. If I could play a dwarf in Guild Wars 2, I would play a Guild Dwarf. A Guild Dwarf? That's what they should have called it. Guild Dwarf. I bought the... When that stone skin infusion came out, I was there. I farmed that thing, and that was the only thing I did. Stone skin, I was like, bang, I've got it. I swap it, but like, I only have a really actually on my Osiris, but like...
Can I make a request?
Sure.
If we're all going to play Baldur's Gate 3, and I already have it, because I've been playing it in the
too.
beta, can we play together?
Please,
I'm
yes,
down.
me
Wait,
too,
Wait, you can co-op it?
can you?
full on co-op it as though
Yeah.
it's a digital D&D
You
campaign.
know what we are
I
going
did
to do.
not know that.
And this
Oh,
is
I'm
how
so
we do our
ready.
D&D Ascalonian Catacombs.
That's interesting.
Yes,
Yeah.
please and thank you. I would love to
Okay.
so much, so
When
much.
does it come
Sorry,
out?
we got
I would
very off topic.
100% be down.
When did it come out,
August. August, is it?
This
Is it
next
August?
month?
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, when Guild Wars 2
I know.
comes out?
I think it comes out before. It comes out at the
Yeah.
start of
Yeah.
the month, and then Obscure
yeah.
comes out at the end. Yeah, like Kent said, it's up to 5 players, so
What would
We
the,
can totally do
We
it.
got to get boots in on this.
Yeah,
Baldur's
yeah.
Gate 3 podcast.
That would,
Yeah, no,
I
it's
mean,
amazing.
it could be a Guild Wars game.
I would also just play it off stream with all of you, not gonna lie. Either
Honestly.
way.
I
Stream or
think
off,
it's.
either way.
I honestly
I'm in.
kind of want a game like that off stream as well. But like, interesting. Yeah, that's very cool. Yes, Ken,
Anyway,
I will roll
sorry.
a dwarf. It's okay. No, that was an important question. I now need to go and watch it so I can find out what the dwarfs look like because I don't know what they look like. So
I just have one more
And you get to make
question.
your dwarven lover.
wait, I guess I have a dwarf and.
Oh, Jebro, so many things lie ahead of you in Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes.
Oh,
you
so many
sweet summer
things.
child. Yes, it's going to be great.
Oh
I just
my
have an
god.
observation.
Yeah,
and this
what's up?
might be totally wrong.
Sure.
But did someone use Secrets of the Obscure assets in Gyala Delve for this ramp? Because the coloring and the scheming and the design, it looks so white and gold and like Amnitas.
I'm not
Or,
there,
like,
so I can't see what you're looking at with your
It just
eyeballs.
looks. I'm just wondering. I just realizing what we know now about Expansion 4. I'm just wondering, like, did someone use the Secrets of the Obscure asset?
It
in
could
Gyala?
be.
I don't
mean,
know.
they're prepping. I
But
mean,
it
we don't
looks.
know.
It looks very like Wizard's Tower, like that white and gold. I was like, this doesn't read Cantha at all. But I don't know.
Either way,
Maybe
a
some
lot
leaks.
of things are happening in August, including
Secrets of the
Baldur's Gate
Obscure.
3 and Secrets of the Obscure. Start of the month, end of the month. Your whole month is going to be a sandwich of incredible gaming
my God.
goodness.
And this summer,
I
it's not
am
too bad,
by
is it?
by the way, because I didn't get to say it,
Hmm.
off the charts excited about Secrets of the Obscure. Can I be
Yes.
real that like
Yep.
Yeah, go on.
everything, every single thing, because I didn't get to say it last
Sure.
week because I sadly wasn't able to come, but all of our discussion today about the fractal and everything else was like the cherry on the cake that week. We got, even though we were talking about, right, like making things easier to find the rewards, all that kind of stuff, I felt like last week was the holidays just suddenly out of nowhere. And I was riding that high for the vast majority of the week because it was just like new content, unexpected story cap scene that made me sob like a baby. The environmental change and the little dialogue changes where the wizard tower used to be once you've done that. New fractal, new rewards, new weapon, new armor. I was just like, it was amazing. And all the stuff that they've released about Obscure, I'm so on board for all of it. Like you all said at the start of the podcast, although I think we were not on mics then, for the first time since, oh my gosh, I don't even know, since I bought it, since Living Season 5 or earlier, I took off my Aurene outfit. And I made wizard time for my fashion wars. And that's how excited I know. That's how excited I am that I took off my champion hat and my glowing rainbow essence.
Aurene is
and I
gone
become
now.
Wizard.
Now
no, she's
Rookery
with
has
me
entered
forever.
their wizard or era.
She's with me forever. But
I mean,
all of it's
yeah,
really
sure.
good. Yeah. Zoja's return. Yes. I'm just excited about like literally everything.
Yeah,
looks so
right. We
good.
talked about Zolja as well coming back, and like, man, it's gonna be so good.
Good times. Legendary armor for PvE. Finally, parity. Yeah.
I'm so excited.
And
New
it's
way to
so
get this
nice.
sale.
Oh god, yeah, that's amazing.
Wizard Vault. Oh my gosh, I'm so pumped about that. I'm
Wizard
so
Vault
looking
is
forward
gonna
to
be-
it.
And you
So
were
good.
right. You were right. Yeah. We were talking about
Me like, was that?
yeah, no, we were talking about battle passes.
Like a form of
Yeah, we were talking
content that
about
rewards
last
just
week.
casual general play of all game
yes.
modes. Yeah.
Yeah, which is good.
Ah, yes.
But like
Yes.
that's
I don't get my Lagos though, so it's sad really.
That's
I don't get my
okay.
Tang
No,
next
you know what?
time.
It's
you had to point
Dude,
that out as well last time.
someday.
I did.
But
I'm still salty.
acquirable in-game mount skins,
Yeah,
gem store
yeah,
stuff being
yeah.
brought to Wizard Vault.
Huge.
I just like literally everything I'm so excited about and I'm so happy about. And like, even with some of our feedback and thoughts today about various parts of the Fractal or things like that, I don't want any of that to be
Yeah, it's not marring
any
it.
kind of
no.
detriment for like how genuinely thrilled I am, how excited, how much energy I have even just felt in our community again as everybody gets so excited for this expansion, and how much I have genuinely loved so much of what has been given to us with End of Dragons and all of the post stuff and the date that we went on, just so good, and all of the new things and that capstone and that little epilogue, I guess, scene that we had with Aurene. It's been a beautiful journey, and
It's coming so soon.
I know. I just can't wait. I
It's
can't
literally
wait.
next month.
Crazy.
Like it's next month. Like that's wild. Let's hope we see some advertising for it. Sorry. I mean, yes, but like to go off of what Rook's saying, and we're gonna kind of wind down the podcast as I try to do Dragon's End, like because I need to do Dragon's End to get that last piece of the armor, and I'm like, there are people doing it, yes, but we are excited. And
Yeah,
again,
don't mind us. We didn't mean to disturb your gameplay this evening.
Oh, hey,
Yes.
hey,
You know.
hey. You always well move on while we're
Fornax
doing
knows
this.
all about focusing
True,
on whatever
this is true.
content
Hey,
you're doing.
I've got ADHD. I can do this. Whether or not I do it well, like, is another thing. But like multitasking, boom, I'm there. Yes, no, we are excited. I think we were fine today. I mean, I think we just said things which we weren't like, oh, that's shit, rah rah rah. Like we were fair. In
No,
our,
I'm really
in our
worried for
things.
all of your status within, the partner. I'm worried. You came down really hard.
I am sorry I said I didn't like the
Wow,
shotgun
okay.
mechanic.
And also,
I
like, as a
loved it.
remark, like the marketing and stuff, I don't even feel like I really have like much say in that. Sometimes I feel like it's an NC sort of thing, so it's not even them. It's just like I think there are some constraints that we aren't really aware of. But hey ho, we'll see what happens. There's nothing. We know those people very well, and we know the work they do, and they work very hard, and everyone does, and. We just love the game. At the end of the day, if the bad thing is that we're being sad that they aren't advertising the thing, like that's not the worst thing in the world, I don't think.
We just have to pick up the slack. It's our advertising campaign now, guys.
Honestly, I kind of don't mind
We've got a
it.
month.
That's what the
Let's get this shit
podcast
going.
is. That's what the podcast is.
And that's why we make videos and we stream, because we bring it to you every single week. The hard-hitting news for Guild Wars 2, keeping you all in the loop and entertained. What more could you ask for? Don't ask me for $50,000. I don't have that at the moment. But
Well, you could also go to the Facebook Marketplace for Kroof and also Rook.
oh yeah,
now.
but if you're willing, if you want to join a company that's like has such great flexibility, you can stay at home and like be with your kids and your family, work at any moment in the day. You know, I highly recommend becoming a part of my team. Hi guys, so welcome to our team.
Okay, so the podcast is
this
ending
is our
now.
new side hustle.
No, we're not an illegal pyramid scheme. No, we're it's just a very densely collaborative effort between a lot of
Kroof
people.
just said that if I spent all my money on these weird candles, that then I'd be able to sell them for twice as much money. So please buy my candles.
And join Rook's team, you know, the upline.
I mean, alternatively, you could join Jebro in his foot stuff on OnlyFans. I mean, it's your choice.
It's knee stuff.
Work smart. Work smart,
Knee,
not hard.
hard.
Tough choices
That's
here. Jebro's knee stuff or Kroof's definitely not a pyramid scheme. This is tough.
One of them is
hard.
illegal. The other has social repercussions.
Wildly enough, it's not the one
God
you would
damn.
think.
Say my knees are illegal.
It's reverse. It's reverse.
Yeah, Jebro's knees are illegal, and we're still trying to figure that out. But
They're too knobbly.
you know, once the legalization of Jebro's knees happens, we'll
Yeah. Look at that in
we've
the ballot, on the
devolved
ballot box
into
next
some
year.
more
Yeah.
randomness.
This is
than,
the after chat show.
I-
Quick, end the stream.
It's not. This is the actual
No, but-
podcast because we haven't done an outro.
Oh gosh.
Okay, quickly. All right, thank you everyone for being on the podcast and talking about the. Well, we talked about the fractal for a fraction of the time. It feels like it was appropriate because fractions are a very small version of dungeons. So this is what the Fractal podcast is. Just a small part of it. The Silent Surf, new Fractal, get in there, give it a bash, see what you think. Let us know in the comments as well. And also some hype about the expansion and just some more complaining that sometimes we do in a very respectful way. And also more hype and enjoyment. We've got things coming. Not sure about if we're going to have a show next week. We'll see. If it is, it will be a short one, which means it probably won't be. Expansion comes out August 22nd. Make sure you go into the description and click one of these lovely people's links, as well as Boots' link will be in there, where you can buy the expansion, also the other expansions or the base game, whatever, using one of the links. Muchly appreciate.
Which I think are on sale still.
Yeah. I hope so. I think so. Yes, potentially.
Think so.
Potentially. But yeah, Fornex, tell us what you do, where you do it. I'm getting killed.
Well, good luck with
Getting
that.
killed? What did you just say? Oh, in game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I was like, damn, you didn't send someone your knee pics?
Yeah.
It said, I paid for those.
I did pay for
Give
this.
me my product.
Wow.
And this is why it's important to deliver on your
Oh,
customers,
shit.
promises.
Yeah. Oh, they'll
my
take
knee.
your kneecaps.
Right.
Gosh,
Yeah,
that's
that's it.
yeah.
That's my career done.
I'm so
No
sorry
more
for next.
enemies.
Please go ahead.
No, it's fine. I'm Fornex, the Crichton Herald. I make Guild Wars 2 content on YouTube. I'm also on Twitch. I'm also on Twitter until it explodes. Guy's such an idiot, that man. And I'm on Threads. Join
I was gonna
Threads,
say, yeah,
people.
join
Holy
Threads.
shirt
It's
balls.
definitely gonna
Goodness
be better.
me. There seems to be at least 75% less bigotry. It's amazing. And
good.
yeah, please. I'm actually working right now on a massive. So I've got a lore video, a spoiler-free lore video. If you're wanting to dive into the expansion blind for the lore that we knew before the Secrets of the Obscure came out. So if your friends are wanting to learn about the lore but they don't want to be spoiled, watch that video. But right now I'm working on a completely spoiler-tastic. Everything we know, everything we think is going to be coming up, the kind of like eyelash deep dive into all the bits and pieces that have come out.
Yeah.
I'm working on that and I'm writing. I've been writing it this week. It'll be coming out probably next week. So if you want all the juicy goss on all the lore bits, then and I think I found some cuneiform in the script. So yeah, if you know what that cuneiform is, then you're a proper nerd. But yeah, so. Yeah, fingers crossed.
I
That's
don't know
what
what
I'm
you're
doing.
talking
So.
about. So
okay.
hopefully I will learn through your video.
It's the Assyrian language, actually. But anyway, yeah.
Well, there you go. That's what I found out.
The
I was
earliest form of writing of humanity.
I was trying to.
Oh, you're trying to big me? I'm shit at this kind of thing, so don't. Yeah, I can't even help myself. But that's it. And also, thank you to all you wonderful people talking to me this evening, and thank you for allowing me to be on the podcast.
Yes, because that's the only reason you're here. Just allowing you, not because you're awesome.
Oh my gosh! No, thank you for being on the podcast and putting up with us.
Yeah.
I don't know how y'all do it. I don't know how the viewers in chat do it either.
I don't know, Korn? I don't know, Kroof. But apparently you were the entire new metal band Korn.
Please rebrand to Korn.
Hi everyone, I'm Korn. I'm delicious and versatile, and I pass right through you. Come out the other side, say hello. I'm an unchanged man. Is it my time to do the outro? I don't know. They can't breathe, so I guess someone's got to talk.
Yes, it's your turn.
Hi everyone. So I'm Kroof. You can also call me Korn if you're nasty. But look at this cute cat shirt. Look what I got at AX.
Did you get that at your anime show?
I went and got it at my anime show. I went to
name
a
to
really good
Korn.
anime show over the week. It was really fun. But it's so cute and adorable. And I just wanted to bring attention to that, really. I think we need to all collectively as a human race talk about these difficult issues. And, you know, I had to bring it forward. But other than that, if you don't want to talk about, you know, difficult issues and just relax, you can come over to my YouTube channel over at Kroof. I just do like some videos, I don't know, about a little game called Guild Wars 2. Really, you know, quaint. And I also, honestly, yeah, I should just stop lying. I haven't streamed here on Twitch in like a month. I really should stop saying that. But if you want to follow me on
YouTube.
Twitch, you can follow me here on Twitch if you want to, at Kroof_. I also have a Twitter. I don't have a thread yet because I don't know.
Because there's like 10 different things that people want to join at the moment, and Fred's probably is going to be a little bit better than the others. Who knows? Who knows?
Thank you for allowing me to be here. I really appreciate it.
You have been here for a long time.
You said
I'm
that.
glad you enjoyed your animation shows. Kroof is good people. Known Kroof for a long, long time. Okay, so.
Not the emphasis on long. Damn.
Yeah, just ages.
Not that old, Jebro.
Since my knees worked, and now they don't. And someone's kneecapping me. Okay, finally, but not last. First and third. Fourth, second, only on the 7th of July. Rookery. Is it the 7th? It is. Excellent. Can you tell people about you, please? No?
Yes, I can, Jebro. Hi, everyone. I'm Rook, aka Rookery. That's R-O-O-K. U-R-I. Thank you for the update, Jebro. Really appreciate that. You can find me on Twitch at Rookery. That's R-O-K-U-R-I again. You can find me on YouTube at the same. You can find me on Twitter as of right now at Rookery_. I have not made a thread yet. Please don't steal it and do not take it as a challenge. I will fight you to the death. Also.
Wow, you should not have said that. I will delete that from the podcast.
I regret everything. I think Fortnite is beautiful. And I think Kroof is wonderful, and I think Jebro's head is shiny, and I miss Boots desperately and wish he'd taken us all to Japan, and I love you all, and we should definitely make Baldur's Gate 3 happen. And I'm for sure going to make 100 characters, but I'm definitely going to make a character that is a little twink that's going to get destroyed by that bear druid.
Wow.
So please look forward to that journey.
Happy Pride!
People give me looks in the chat, and they do all these side eyes and all that kind of stuff. And then Rook says that, and it's fine. Like, I don't get it. Okay?
Pride is year-round, and it doesn't stop. It never quits. It's just like...
Okay, I have a question.
No, this is the end of the podcast.
Can you explain to me what a twink is? Because in my head...
Oh, God.
So in World of Warcraft, right, there was a thing called twinks. And it was a lower level character.
Yes.
That you learned about this. This is so funny. I just learned about this.
Yes.
Right.
Twinks were in WoW?
Twinks were a thing in WoW, but it was
I've
like,
said this all the
what,
time.
somebody...
See, Blizzard would always an ally.
No, but
I
it's
know.
Twinks have been not just in Blizzard, they're in everything. They're like in any game.
Yes.
Like, you know, when someone makes a new account
Well, I mean,
for something, they're a
sometimes twinks
twink.
are in anything.
Like,
I've known a few twinks in my
I said
day.
that on my stream, and someone was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, when you know you've got a low-level character, like you know, and you restart and you're like powered up and all this kind of stuff."
A lot of things are in Twinks. It's the reverse, but
Listen, I mean, people could be
Is
a
this a
dom
podcast
top.
safe
It's true.
conversation? I mean,
Yeah, a twink.
Is this when a mummy
twink.
and a daddy love each other very
some people would describe
kind of conversation?
me. I mean, I think before I went on my fitness journey, people would have described me as a twink or like an androgynous twink. I still hold that. A twink is like a smaller framed, skinnier, leaner gay guy.
yeah.
Oh.
Twink.
This is brand new information. Okay, thank
wait,
you.
I thought
But
this
it
is
does
where
have
you were
very
going.
different-
Where were you going?
No, it does have very different meanings in MMORPGs, where I know
Yes.
that it has
Yeah,
an
yeah.
entire other vernacular that I had no idea about. But no, in the LGBT community, yes, it's kind of like
it's
a...
been around
it's
for
like
that phrase has been
small-
around for like 15, 20 years.
Which
Like,
I wonder if it pulls from the gay twink, because twinks are like
I don't know.
players who are like lower level.
Yes.
And are smaller
Well, they're
and more
power.
frail.
No, they're powerful.
Yeah, but they're
Maybe.
No.
powerful.
No,
I know it
twinks
was a
are
homophobic
powerful.
attack.
They're powerful
I thought
because
there
they're
might be a
like
connection, but there isn't. It doesn't seem like it, at least. We went deep into this on my stream last week, so this is the kind of
Philosophy.
content you can explore. Because one of my characters in game got called the prettiest twink of a white mage that anybody had seen, and it was the greatest compliment I have ever received in my entire life. So we ended up going on a whole
wow,
conversation
we
about
really need
this.
to get you out a little bit more.
So it's kind of like a reverse of a bear, because I found out that bears were just not like men who were fluffy. I thought that it was just like a cute thing, but no, there's a very specific. You see, you learn so much.
And then
on the
It's
I'm
the-
on like
it's
my
the dichotomy.
This is
I'm
what
on
we
my-
like to do on the Lightbringers podcast. We like to be
Yeah.
informative
Educate.
and educational.
And I'm on my twunk era, where I'm gaining more muscle mass, but I'm still not yet like,
Oh my god.
you know, like
I don't know
it's-
that maid outfit. You if the paradigm fits, that was like peak.
I'm like femme twunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, femtwunk. I love that for you. I love that for you.
Oh good lord.
You
This
look
was
so
great.
adorable. You so
You
adorable.
did. Oh my
darling.
gosh. You look adorable
So
always, but
cute.
you looked very good in that.
You did.
So
That's
where
it.
are we
The
with
end.
this? I don't know
No,
anymore.
this is the end of my outro, and I feel really good about it. So check me out. This is about par for the course in any of my content.
I'm
So,
trying to kill the Jade Moor and Dragon Sea, and also trying to do the Dragon's End event while also ending the podcast. So now we are there, and this is the end.
Yay.
There's something chasing me. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. What was meant to be a short episode, which is just the same length as normal. We did start on time today, so there is that. That was the first time. Have an excellent rest of your day. If we're not back next week, you can check it out. I'll let you know at Jebro Uni on Twitter, twitch.tv/Jebro Uni. You can also join our Discord for news about the podcast and my community, our community, sorry. And yeah, check out YouTube channel and Twitch for the VODs. Also Spotify, just look up the Lightbringers podcast. You can also Google it, find it out on whatever you listen to podcasts on. And please check out all the peeps in the description, and we will see you next time, as long as my audio plays. I mean, it's not all reliant on that, but you know. You can wave as well if you want. Oh, dramatic music. Dun, dun.
goodbye, Twinks, Twunks, Bears, and all the rest of you.
Bye, otters. Goodbye,
otters.
wolves.
Bye, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Have a wonderful week.
Bye, daddies.
Goodbye,
Bye, mommy.
everyone. I don't know anymore.
Just,
Trans rights are human rights.